There's plenty of what ifs.
What if we didn't have corruption,
persecuciones o guerras,
HIV,
Ageism,
discrimination,
stigma.
ماذا لو فهم الجميع في العالم معنى أن تكون مهاجراً بعيداً عن أهلك، بعيداً عن ناسك، بعيداً عن وطنك؟
I always think, what if my home just disappears? What if my whole country disappears? And what if my daughter never gets to see it?
What if the world was cleaner?
What if my child could grow up in a world where climate change wasn't a constant threat and where cities were pollution-free?
أمنيتي لها خاصة بعدل الفرق بين المدينة وبرات المدينة.
Tous les jours, on voit les villes grandir, on voit un exode rural des populations, et cela vient avec beaucoup de problèmes, des problèmes de logement, des problèmes d'insalubrité, des problèmes de santé publique.
By 2050, globally, there will be more people over the age of 60 than children.
So we need to plan for age-friendly cities.
Но это единственным образом можно решить. Один шаг за шагом.
There's so many people that have nothing, and there's so few people that have a lot. And you think about inequality. So important to understand that we need a world that is more equal.
What if we lived in a world where all that mattered was how we cared about each other?
We're all deserving of the same kind of care and love and health and education. And these are just all basic necessities that we should all have access to.
世界上的贫富差距应该可以减少，而且将会有更多的工作机会给新的一代。
New technology can do things that are completely undreamt of. What if it was used for bringing education to rural areas?
Tout ce que je suis devenu, c'est vraiment cette éducation que j'ai reçue à la base. Et je pense que si moi je peux accéder à cette éducation, tous les enfants du monde doivent avoir accès à ça aussi.
如果全世界一起合作，打造一个共享的网络空间，那么所有人都能够参与数字经济。
¿Qué tal si en el mundo nos escucháramos?
When we bring our minds together, those ideas become innovation.
I think my only what if, out of many what ifs, would be what if every young person was empowered to reach their full potential?
What if the world was a more secure place for young people like me?
Мы все в этом мире временные. Y у нас есть путь выбрать.
Cuando digo que hace falta solidaridad entre países, también es solidaridad entre las personas.
What if all the nations understand that we are so powerful? We should be the instrument of peace. We should be the peace.
What if leaders and communities would understand that they should use dialogue and not conflict to address their differences?
Si c'est possible.
Do I think this is possible? Yes, because I'm an optimist. I'm an optimist.
We need your opinions, your strategies, your ideas for us to be able to deliver better for the people of the world that we must serve.
We can change this game.
It is absolutely essential that you all join the conversation.
Everybody has to contribute. We don't have an option.
Everybody needs to talk. We need to come together.
What would the world be like?
There are 30 million young Filipinos today. When they are empowered, they can create a prosperous and sustainable future for humanity. How? Let's focus on just one girl. Let's call her Nina. Nina can fulfill her dreams if we give her the power to shape her own future. She can be an inspiring leader, a productive worker, an innovator, a caring parent, or a key person in her community. But without proper support and access to opportunities, her future will be at stake. That is why the United Nations Population Fund is supporting the conduct of a 15-year study that will follow a group of 5,000 10-year-old girls and boys from all over the Philippines. We want to learn the changing needs of Filipino youth like Nina for the next 1.5 decades, so we can give them access to the best solutions. Because what the world will look like in 15 years depends on our power to unlock the potential of a 10-year-old today. Will you let their future slip away?
Hello mga kapatid! Welcome ulit sa session natin on KaBayanihan. Pag-uusapan naman natin ngayon ang Usaping Pangkapayapaan.
Pero bago yan, kapatid na Edgar, ay pipili na agad tayo ng 5 random viewers na nagko-comment sa UNFPA Philippines Facebook Live ngayon. At ang mapalad na mapipili ay mananalo ng load mula sa YPR Pilipinas. So, sa mga nanonood via Facebook Live sa ibang FB page, maaari po kayong lumipat sa UNFPA Philippines FB Live para po makita namin ang inyong mga pangalan sa comment section.
Wow! Ibang klaseng sorpresa yan kapatid at hindi lamang yan. Pagkatapos ng ating 1-hour session ay pipili din tayo ng 5 pang lucky winners na nagstay during our 1-hour session. Kaya magpa-shoutout na kayo sa comment section sa UNFPA Philippines Facebook Live para mapansin kayo at malay nyo kayo na ang susunod na mananalo ng ating exciting prizes.
Wow naman kapatid na Edgar. So first part pa lang yan ay very interactive na talaga ang ating session today. Tsaka kapatid, in fact, meron na tayong pag-games ngayon pa lang.
Yes kapatid, kaya wag na nating patatagalin pa. Ang maswerteng sasagot sa tanong na ito ay mananalo ng surprise gift galing sa ating mga organizers.
So ayan kapatid na Edgar, I think excited na din lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon. So ano nga ba yung tanong natin kapatid?
Tama. Ang ating tanong sa hapong ito, at kapag narinig nyo na yung tanong, ay i-comment nyo na ang sa tingin nyo ay tamang sagot. Kaya, ang tanong natin ngayong hapon, ano ang sineselebrate nating mga kabataan ngayong August 12? Uulitin ko po, ano ang ating sineselebrate na mga kabataan ngayong August 12?
Alam mo, kapatid na Edgar, balita ko nga, ang dami ding mga sangguniang kabataan ngayon na nag-organize din ng different events para makapag-participate sa celebration natin ngayon. So, ano kaya ito, kapatid na Edgar? Bilisan na po ninyo yung pagko-comment dyan.
Tama, kapatid, dahil hindi lamang buong Pilipinas ang nagse-celebrate ng International Youth Day dahil buong mundo ay nagse-celebrate ng IYD.
Yes, partner. So, tignan natin pang partner kung sino nga ba yung mga nagsasagot. Feeling ko ang dami-dami na nila. Pero bago pala yan, kapatid na Edgar, ay i-acknowledge din natin si Miss Myla from the League Center for the Deaf and of course, yung iba nating partners. Hello, Miss Myla!
Ayan. I think, partner, ay meron na tayong winner. Pero bago yan, ay i-reveal muna natin ang ating sagot sa ating tanong. Ayan. So, ang ating sagot ay, ayan, International Youth Day. Ayan. We are celebrating International Youth Day this August 12. At ang ating winner ay, kapatid, sino nga ba?
So, ayan, ang dami-daming nagsagot, kapatid na Edgar. Pero sino kaya yung maswerteng nanalo?
Ayan.
Ayan, congratulations, Miel Nora.
And congratulations po, Ma'am Miel. And we are also announcing and we are informing everybody that we are not just live here on Facebook. Dahil live din po tayo at 99.0 Voice FM, DXMY, RMN, Cotabato Radio Station.
Yes, kapatid. So sa lahat po ng mga gustong makinig din, mag-antabay lang po kayo dahil marami pa po tayong parating pa po ng mga surprises. So, ayan kapatid, I think thank you very much sa mga nagsagot. At bago tayo mag-proceed sa ating dialogue, pakinggan muna natin ang message ng ating UNFPA Assistant Country Representative who is also very supportive sa ating mga kabataan. So, let us welcome Miss Rina Donna.
Thank you very much, Edgar, Alondra, and Myla. Magandang hapon po, mapiya kagabi, mapiya malulem, maayong hapon. A very good afternoon to all of you. On behalf of the United Nations Population Fund, or UNFPA in the Philippines, and YPIR Pilipinas, I would like to welcome you all to the 5th session of our online KaBayanihan Intergenerational Dialogue, in which we started to engage with the young people in the Philippines who are going through these unprecedented times of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our previous KaBayanihan sessions on health, education, employment, and human rights revealed not just the challenges that young people face during this outbreak and quarantines, but also their capability and potential to engage, innovate, and help address those challenges. This International Youth Day, UNFPA Philippines seeks to contribute to the discussion of its theme on youth engagement for global action by highlighting how the Bangsamoro youth are doing at these times and how they can be involved and supported to come up with innovative solutions to the current issues that they are facing, thus becoming a change agent for peace, education, and development. Lasting peace and security will not be achieved without proper investments in education, health, including sexual and reproductive rights, economic opportunities, and skills development for young people, especially for girls. It is in this context that the KaBayanihan session has been conceptualized. It essentially aims to provide a safe space for young people to dialogue with a government official on issues that directly or indirectly affect them, especially in this COVID-19 context, and support young people on their innovative ideas. We are then so honored to have MP Marjanie Macasalong with us today in the KaBayanihan sa Usaping Pangkapayapaan to dialogue with our young people. Dr. Marjanie, on behalf of UNFPA and YPIR, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to you for your generosity in agreeing to be our resource person today, despite how busy you are. Thank you very much. Again, welcome young people of the Philippines to the Kabayanihan sa Usaping Pangkapayapaan. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay tayong lahat.
So ayan, maraming salamat po Miss Rina. Nakita nga natin kapatid no kung gaano kahalaga yung mga dialogue na ganito para ma-empower din yung mga kapwa natin kabataan. So kapatid na Edgar, I think sobrang excited na din yung mga viewers natin. Ipakilala na natin ang ating guest speaker.
Yan. Ang ating makakasama ngayong hapon ay walang iba kundi si Mr. Marjanie Macasalong, Member of Parliament and Chairperson of the Bangsamoro Youth Commission. Let us all welcome Mr. Marjanie.
Okay.
Yan. Magandang hapon po, Sir Marjanie. Assalamualaikum po.
Sige pa. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good afternoon to each and everyone sa mga live viewers po natin. Magandang hapon.
So thank you very much, Sir Marjanie. Paalala lang po namin sa mga nanonood na may napili na po tayong mga tanong or galing sa mga nag-register dun sa registration link natin. So para po sa episode na ito. Kaya naman, ang mga tanong na ipapakita ay yung mga naitanong na din po ng karamihan sa ating mga nag-register.
I think kapatid, we are now proceeding to our question and answer portion ngayong hapon na ito. So, Sir Marjanie, pakinggan po natin ang utang tanong mula sa kapatid nating sina Norjana at Rona.
Hello.
Sige po.
Ako po si Norjana Lalaog mula sa Dato Udin Sinsot, Maguindanao. Ang tanong ko po ay, mayroon bang programa ang BARMM para mapanatiling payapa at masiguro ang seguridad ng bansa? Ano ang maitutulong ng kabataan sa programa kung meron man? Salamat.
Hello everyone, my name is Rona Painesaire, 20 years old, and my question is, with all of the chaos and unexpected happenings now, how would the government address the unrest and doubtful heart of the people?
Clear po ba yung question, sir? Or we need to repeat po?
Napotol eh.
Ay, so yung question number 1 po, tanong ni kapatid Norjana, ano-ano mga ba ang programa ng BARMM para makamit at mapanatili ang kapayapaan at seguridad ng bansa? Ano ang magiging role ng mga kabataan sa mga programang iyon kung meron man? At yung pangalawang tanong po, ay sige po, sa first question po muna tayo.
Sige pa. Maraming salamat sa tanong. I think we have to begin by saying na ang Bangsamoro government, ang pagpatayo ng Bangsamoro government ay direct po itong respond doon sa idea na gusto natin makuha yung lasting peace, yung kapayapaan na matagal na natin inaasam-asam. Huwag po natin kalimutan na yung pagpatayo ng Bangsamoro government ay result po ito ng negotiation ng Moro Islamic Liberation Front at saka yung Philippine government. Ito po ay tumagal ng more than 20 years na po. Nagsimula sila noong 1997, yung formal negotiation ng Moro Islamic Liberation Front at saka National Philippine government. At hanggang ngayon po, although meron na tayong Bangsamoro government, ay hindi pa po na-implement lahat yung mga nakapagkasunduan ng dalawang panig. So yun ho yung unang sagot doon na the very reason of establishing the Bangsamoro government, why we wanted to abolish the ARMM, is for us to have lasting peace in our region. So lahat ho ng programa ng Bangsamoro government, I would say directly or indirectly, ay lahat po yan kasama doon sa malakihang programa ng Bangsamoro government and I would say the Philippine government na magkaroon tayo ng kapayapaan sa ating lugar. Kasama na ho doon yung mga nakafocus sa security aspect or normalization na nakasalukuyang pinapatupad ng Philippine government at saka Moro Islamic Liberation Front, yung normalization process. Yung normalization process na yung ilan sa mga yung mga combatants rather ng MILF will undergo the decommissioning process. Ibig sabihin, yung mga combatants po ng MILF will have more on civilian living or a kind of life na magiging productive sila sa kanilang mga communities and societies. So yun ho yung kasama sa mga programa ng BARMM na ngayon ho ay although sa iba't ibang ministries ng government ay nakalodge yung mga ibang programa, pero ang main objective po doon ay yung papanatili ng kapayapaan na at saka inasahan po natin na yung mga ibang grupo na hindi po pasok sa Bangsamoro government ay maintindihan nila na ang pinaka-purpose ng Bangsamoro government ay para makuha natin yung kapayapaan. So ang tanong na ano yung may contribute ng mga kabataan ay una po yung pinag-uusapan natin na normalization process, hindi po yan makukuha in just like 1 year or 2 years or like a few years. Yung normalization process or the peace process at large, tatagal po yan ng, of course, we are looking for the 10 years or more than 10 years para po masustain natin yung gains ng peace process. Yun nga po, balikan ko yung explanation ko kanina na nagsimula ng 1997 yung peace process at hanggang ngayon po ay nag-uusap ang Philippine government at saka Moro Islamic Liberation Front. May mga implementation na, minsan may hindi mapagkasunduan ulit, then nagne-negotiate sila ulit at yun na yung routine ng relationship ng MILF at saka Philippine government. So, ang role ng kabataan doon ay para po sa atin na ma-sustain kasi of course we are talking about 10 years or 20 years or so. It's a fact na may mga of course yung leaders natin may edad na, yung iba nauna na, like for example the late chairman of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front na si Ustad Salamat Hashim, ang late father ko din na unang chairman ng MILF panel in talking with the government, that was in 1997 and 1998. And then of course ang father ng Bangsamoro Organic Law na si Sir Ghazali Jafar ay pumanaw na rin. So ngayon ay pino-prepare natin yung mga kabataan, kailangan natin sila i-prepare para po ma-sustain yung gains ng peace process. Compare po yung situation natin ngayon at saka noon, makikita po natin na dahil sa pag-uusap, dahil sa peace process, meron ho tayong relative peace sa ating mga area. Compare ho, for example, in 2000 na mayroong all-out war, ng dami-daming mga IDPs, ng dami-daming mga kabataan na hindi makapasok sa kanilang mga eskwelahan dahil ho may digmaan at saka yung school natin ay nagiging temporary shelter. Yun ho yung wala sa ngayon. That is why we say we have the relative peace. So if tuloy-tuloy na po itong nakuha natin at yung mga kabataan ay maintindihan nila na you do not have to fight with each other para magkaintindihan, inaasahan po natin na as we go along, mas magiging mapayapa po yung mga lugar natin at mas makakamit natin yung pangmatagalang pangkapayapaan.
Yan. Sir, yung follow-up
Mr.
na
Marjanie.
question po ni...
Yes?
Go ahead, kapatid.
Yes po. Ay, paano po ba yung nagiging preparation natin para po maihanda yung mga kabataan nga po na masustain po yung peace process?
Another very good question. Doon sa ginawa namin na tinatawag namin na Bangsamoro Youth Transition Priority Agenda, BYTPA, na dapat noong February pa namin ila-launch, pero dahil sa pandemya hindi po namin na-launch at ngayong afternoon ay isasabay namin sa program because of the International Youth Day na ila-launch namin yung BYTPA. Ang BYTPA na yun ay yun yung magsiserve na guide namin or it's a priority agenda na gagawin ng opisina para po ma-sustain yung mga iba't ibang programa. At kasama po doon yung kasama po doon yung peace and security, one of the main agenda na kailangan ipaintindi sa mga bata. So it goes around to the the importance of education na kailangan natin turuan yung mga kabataan para maintindihan nila kung anong kahalagahan na sila ay dapat nila maintindihan yung peace process. Kasi kung titingnan natin yung mga ibang grupo ay palagi nilang sinasabi na wala po tayong nakuha o napala sa peace process, which is very very wrong. Yan po yung line na dapat natin i-campaign, ipaalam sa kung kaya po bawat isang Bangsamoro youth ay maintindihan, hindi lang Bangsamoro youth, kundi youth around the country, para po maintindihan nila na yung tinatamas natin ngayon na relative peace, na may mga kasabay na development sa ating mga area, ay dahil po yon sa peace process na sinimulan natin. So, yung mga advocacy na ginagawa namin, yung mga training, yung mga seminar para maging para mas maintindihan ng mga kabataan at makatulong din sila sa pag-explain sa mga taong bayan kung ano yung nakuha natin sa peace process. Yun po yung mga isa sa hakbang natin para po ma-sustain ng mga kabataan yung gains ng peace process.
Thank you po, sir. And sir, alam mo kami din dito nasa North, and yung mga kapatid nating nakasubaybay ngayon ay excited na rin po sa launching ng BYPPM later, at kaya tumutok po ang ating mga kapatid at antabayanan natin ang kanilang launching. Sir, follow-up question po kanina ni kapatid nating si Rona. With all the chaos and unexpected happenings daw po, how would the government address the unrest and doubtful heart of the people?
Yung mga ganyang tanong, wala pong diretsahan na sagot. I think alam natin 'yan. Yung mga doubt na 'yan, yung mga let's say worry natin, yung mga concerns natin, although pwede tayong may gawin na mga programa, but I think what is more important is for them to give us a chance na makita nila na yung ginagawa natin ay talagang para sa atin at para sa kapayapaan. Halimbawa, dati nung kasagsagan ng BUL, campaign ng plebiscite ng BUL, ang daming nagsasabi na hindi naman yon ang sagot sa kapayapaan dito sa Mindanao, and we also told them na bigyan nyo ng chance na itong Bangsamoro government ay ito yung sasagot sa mga concerns at mga problema natin, at sasagot doon sa pangmatagalang pangkapayapaan. And alhamdulillah, we have now the Bangsamoro government, at paunti-unti napuprove natin na yung sinasabi natin na ito yung sasagot sa mga pangangailangan natin, although hindi natin kaya 100%, pero nakikita naman ho natin yung changes and evolution, pagbabago from dati at saka sa ngayon when we have the Bangsamoro government, dahil doon po sa sistema mismo. Let's say sa the Bangsamoro government, mayroon silang block grant, tayo po yung allocate ng funds natin, tayo yung gumagawa ng appropriation act natin para bigyan ng pondo yung iniisip natin at nakikita natin na kailangang programa para sa ating bayan. So maybe not so relevant here to give an example, pero makita natin na very fast yung pag-respond ng Chief Minister natin sa COVID-19, let's say pamimigay ng relief goods, dahil yung sistema natin, tayo yung may block grant, tayo yung may pera, hindi na kailangan na hingiin pa natin, for example, sa national government, kundi tayo na po, pwede tayo magbigay ng sapat na pondo para po sa programang kailangan natin. Just like in the other programs na makikita ng Chief Minister na kailangan natin gawin, agad po natin yan matutugunan dahil po yung mayroon tayo ngayon ay parang genuine autonomy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Marjanie. So ayan, nakakatuwa kapatid na Edgar, no, na through the Bangsamoro government ay nasisiguro na nga natin na magkakaroon na ng lasting peace sa Mindanao. At isa pa kapatid na Edgar nga, no, nakikita natin na napakahilaga ng seguridad para ma-empower din natin yung mga kabataan doon. And yun nga din sabi ni Sir Marjanie kanina na mas mabilis din silang nakakapag-respond dahil nga yung fund ay directly na nasa kanila. And of course, kapatid nga, no, yun, mas madali yung pag-initiate ng mga programs para maka-address din sa mga problema ngayong pandemic. So, ayan,
Yes,
thank you
that's
very
true.
much ulit, Sir Marjanie. Ang pangalawang tanong naman po natin ay galing kay Chucky from Basilan.
Yes po.
Ako po si Chucky at ako po ay taga Basilan. Sa anong paraan po nakakaapekto ang access sa dekalidad na edukasyon sa usaping pangkapayapaan?
Thank you very
So,
much
ulitin ko
for
lang po
asking
yung
that
tanong,
question
sir.
kasi yung discussion din natin kanina ay nag-revolve around that topic. Kasi po yung kapayapaan at saka yung sinasabi natin na edukasyon ay parang intertwined po yan na hindi po mapaghiwalay ang issue na yan. Halimbawa, yung example ko kanina na noong let's say 1997, 98, 99 and it was culminated in the 2000 all-out war of Iraq Estrada na ang nagkaroon ng all-out war sa Mindanao. Alam po natin na umabot ng hundreds of thousands na mga tao yung nag-evacuate at lahat po yung mga, I would say almost lahat po yung tinirahan ng mga yon ay mga eskwelahan. So naalala po natin na na-suspended po yung mapapasok ng mga bata. Yun nga, paano ka ba makakapasok sa school kung may putukan sa inyong lugar? That's one. Number two is paano ka rin makakapasok sa school kung ang eskwelahan mo ay naging temporary shelter or evacuation center. Ganon din yung mga teachers natin. Paano din sila makakapagturo? Paano nila ihahanda yung mga sarili nila na magturo sa mga paaralan kung sila mismo ay hindi nila alam ang seguridad ng kanilang pamilya? Sila ba ay pupunta rin sa evacuation center or sila din ba ay pupunta sa ibang lugar or magtuturo na lang? So yung ganyang usapan ay very much po related sa peace and order, yung pagkuha natin ng quality education. Kasi kung titingnan po natin lahat ng mga lugar na mayroon let's say peaceful, you mentioned the names in the, for example, Malaysia, Singapore, or Japan, or if you go as far as like Europe, makikita po natin na mayroon silang quality education dahil nakafocus yung gobyerno nila doon sa education, nakafocus yung mga teachers nila doon sa edukasyon na ituturo nila sa mga bata, at yung mga bata din ay nakafocus sila sa araw-araw na pagpunta nila sa kanilang mga paaralan. Unlike sa atin, with respect na yun nga, dahil ako talagang naka-experience ng gano'n na kahit gusto namin mag-aral, hindi po kami makapasok sa aming mga paaralan dahil yung paaralan namin ay naging temporary shelter. Tapos nakikita din natin yung mga armed men both in the MILF or the BIAF and in the government forces na umaali-aligid doon or yung movement nila. Sino ba naman ang mag-aaral or paano ka makaka-focus sa eskwelahan kung yun yung environment na nakikita natin? So in order for us to have the quality education, kailangan po natin makuha yung peace and order sa ating lugar. Nang sa ganun po ay lahat tayo, let's say yung mga students ay makapag-aral sa paaralan, tapos sa bahay makapag-aral din sa mga homework na binibigay sa kanila. Yung mga teachers din natin ay nakakapag-aral ng mabuti kung ano ang ituturo nila sa mga students nila, at ganoon din sa mga parents, mga magulang, na hindi sila nangangamba kung anong mangyayari sa kanilang mga anak sa pagpunta sa kanilang mga paaralan dahil po mayroon na ho tayong peace and order sa ating mga community. Not unless makuha natin yan, walang parents or very rare natin makikita na may mga parents na nagtitake ng risk na papuntahin yung mga anak nila sa paaralan na mayroon hong putukan. I'd say in general sense, lahat ho ng magulang ay gusto ho nila maging safe po, ligtas yung kanilang mga anak sa kahit anumang pangamba, lalo na ho kung ang pinag-uusapan ay putukan. Wala hong pagulang na papayagan yung anak nila na mag-aaral doon sa isang lugar na may barilan ho. So yun yung connection ng peace and order sa quality na education.
Salamat po, Mr. Marjanie. So, ayun nga kapatid, no? Hindi talaga natin pwedeng paghiwalayin ang usaping pangkapayapaan at saka sa access din sa quality education. And yun nga, partner, na napakahalaga nga na nakapag-focus lang tayo sa pag-aaral instead na ang dami nating pangamba. So, ayan, thank you po ulit. Ang pangatlong tanong naman po natin ay mula kay Al Rafi from Tawi-Tawi.
Hi guys, my name is Al Rafi Harun from the municipality of Sitangkay, province of Tawi-Tawi. My question is, how do we ensure that the Bangsamoro youth will not be engaging to violent extremism? Thank you.
Ang tanong na napakasikat sa atin lahat, paano tayo hindi masama doon sa mga grupo na yung ideology nila ay gumagamit ng dahas or extremism or sometimes they use the word terrorism. Yung tanong po na ganyan, I think wala pong, I would say, kung 100% yung hahanapin natin na assurance ay napakahirap po yan. I say, mahirap po natin yan hanapin in any area po, kahit saang lugar, hindi lang Mindanao or Pilipinas, but even in other areas. I would mention, for example, na mayroon ding mga, yun nga, na-mention natin ng Malaysia, mayroon ding mga taong doon, despite the fact na yung economy nila ay mataas, ang education nila sa mga tao nila, tapos nagde-develop na rin sila. Mayroon din ho silang mga tao na nai-influensahan ng mga extremist group, I would say. Katulad din sa Singapore, Japan, and other areas. Kung titingnan nga natin, mayroon din sa nangyayari din ito, let's say sa America or sa Europe, yung mga advanced country po na nakikita natin. So, ibig sabihin, wala hong assurance na kung gawin natin ito, 101% ay hindi po makaka-recruit yung mga extremist groups sa ating mga kabataan. But what we can say is to substantially minimize it, na hindi nila makuha yung mga kabataan sa kanilang ideology. At isa na ho doon sa pinaka-importante, number one, ulitin ho natin ang education. Kasi po, yung education, hindi ho natin sinasabi na ang nare-recruit lang ng mga extremist group ay yung mga walang edukado with respect. Pero kung titingnan ho natin, karamihan ay yung mga tao na, let's say, nakatigil sa pag-aaral, biktima ng harassment, biktima ng violence sa kanilang lugar, at iba pa po na ganun yung epekto sa kanila. Yung parang sa loob nila ay mayroong mga let's say, regrets or revenge, may galit sa, let's say, gobyerno, yung mga, or sa kapwa, or sa pamahalaan, yung ganun. Yun yung mga tao nilang agad-agad ay nare-recruit. At kung i-expand pa natin ng konti, yung mga taong loner, yung mga tao na iniisip nila ay hindi sila kasama or kasali sa society, yung mga loner na parang walang masyadong kaibigan, mahilig mag-isa, sinasabi ng mga kabataan na galit sa mundo, yun ho yung mga tao na very prone po na maging target nila at they can easily recruit those kind of people. Pero yung mga yung mga taong let's say educated or nakapag-aral, mayroon din ho na recruit, but karamihan ay hindi dahil naintindihan nila at mas nakikita nila yung bigger picture sa kanilang society na hindi ho yan yung tamang solution or paraan para ho harapin natin yung tinatawag na extremism, or para ho harapin natin yung mga let's say concern natin sa gobyerno. So ulitin ko lang, yung education na yun can be a tool that can be used effectively in to address many problems. Kasama na ho doon yung violent extremism. Kung mabigyan po natin ng sapat na edukasyon yung mga kabataan, mas tataas po talaga yung chances natin na hindi ho sila ma-recruit ng mga other groups, kasi po yun nga, sila na ho ay naka-engage sa kanilang mga schools at nafe-feel na nila na yung future na nakikita nila sa kanilang lugar at sa kanilang mga sarili or pamilya ay nandoon po. So, but aside from the education, we also say na ang gobyerno mismo ay dapat din may mga hakbang para ho mapigilan yung mga kabataan na mag-engage sa kanila. So isa na ho doon yung mga programa na ginagawa natin na let's say we engage them kahit hindi doon sa education, but we let them feel, yung mga kabataan, na they are part of the government or they are part of the society or community. They are part of the decision making in their respective families or communities. Their voices are heard, and to some extent ay na-address yung mga concerns nila, hindi lang yung sabi nilang ito yung kailangan natin at wala na tayong address. So definitely the role of the government in addressing this kind of issue is very very important, kasi po kahit gaano po natin sinasabi na ito ay maganda, ito yung dapat natin tulong na maibigay sa kanila, kung hindi rin nila maramdaman at hindi nila makita mismo na ito yung tulong na galing sa gobyerno, talaga pong wala silang tiwala sa gobyerno. Pero kung makita nila, kahit hindi natin sinasabi na ito yung tulong ng gobyerno, pero kung nakikita nila na meron ho tayong mga programa para sa kanila, sila na ho mismo yung nagsasabi na ito ho yung mga programa ng gobyerno na pinapakinabangan ng mga taong bayan.
Ayan, maraming salamat po, sir. And kapatid, no, we have to agree na ang education talaga yung napakahalaga upang magabayan itong mga kabataan na ito. And at that, hindi natin dinediscourage ang mga kabataan na mag-voice out ng kanilang concerns, dahil napakahalaga ng boses ng mga kabataan para makapag-create ang ating government ng mga procedures and measures na mapanatili ang kapayapaan. At kailangan din natin ng suporta ng ating mga magulang para naman magabayan ng maayos ang ating mga kapwa-kabataan.
Totoo yan, no, kapatid na Edgar, at hindi nga lang sa Mindanao, ngunit pati nga din dito sa atin, lalo na nitong mga nakaraang araw, ay nakaka-experience nga din tayo ng violent extremism. Pero alam mo, kapatid na Edgar, no, napakahalaga nga yung sinabi ni Sir Marjanie na importante din na ini-involve talaga natin or ine-engage natin yung mga kabataan sa mga dialogue sessions na ganito, at magkaroon sila ng active participation sa pag-formulate nga ng mga programs and policies na i-implement ng government, para talaga maramdaman nila na bilong ako sa gobyerno ko, may naaambag ako, ganyan. So napakahalaga talaga nun. And of course, kapatid na Edgar, di ba, tayo din ay nagkakandak din tayo ng peer education as a strategy din para ma-involve din natin yung mga kapwa natin kabataan.
Kaya hindi lamang ang mga nagtaga-BARMM ang gumagawa ng action para may stop na ang violent extremism. Dahil dito sa North ay we are also making a move para mapanatili ang peace and security sa buong bansa. Ayan, maraming salamat po, sir. At ang pakinggan naman po natin ang tanong mula sa kapatid nating si Damira.
Hello, ako po si Damira Abbas mula sa Cotabato City. Ang tanong ko po ay, paano po natin masusolusyonan ang problema ng rape culture? Salamat!
Rape culture ho ang tanong. I would give, or my answer would be based on two categories. Two perspectives. If yung ganun ho, tayo, let's say, religious point of view, pwede yun natin sabihin na yung ganyang mga issue na rape, ang final ho na solution dyan ay para yung mga kabataan ho natin, nung tayo lahat ay maturuan ng yung it's not allowed in Islam. I mean, it's the point na kailangan natin ipaintindi sa kanila na hindi ito pwede sa Islam. And if we have trained our the people, kung sila ho ay maging mas religious pa po, sila na ho mismo yung iiwas sa mga ganyang issue. Kasi for example, in Islam, hindi lang ho yan pinagbabawal, kundi ang mismong sinasabi ng Islam ay wag ho tayo maging malapit sa zina or mga bagay na nakaka-tempt sa atin para gumawa ng hindi maganda sa let's say sa mga babae. So kung lahat po ng mga kabataan o tayo lahat ay ganun ho yung pag-iisip na hindi ho natin hindi ho tayo lumalapit sa ganung situation, tayo na ho magiging built-in po. Yun yung gusto kong sabihin. Magiging built-in or innate sa atin na bawal po yan at kailangan namin umiwas sa ganyang situation. So yun ho yung isang paraan na sinasabi ng mga religious scholar natin ng pinaka-effective way to combat this rape culture is turuan ho sila ng Islamic teachings nang sa ganun ay maging built-in po o innate sa kanila yung pag-iwas sa mga ganyan. Hindi na ho, according sa kanila, hindi na ho kailangan na may mga, let's say, police visibility or yung mga very mga strict na punishment para doon sa mga rapist, kundi kung nasa kanila na ho na bawal yon, sila na ho mismo yung iiwas sa mga ganong situation. So yun yung isang perspective na kailangan din natin tingnan. But on the other hand, kung sa mga in governance, yung ganyan ho, yun, ulitin ho natin yung education na kailangan natin ipaano sa mga bata na yung mga harassment, violence, or kailangan natin irespeto yung tao na yon, lalaki, babae, dahil they deserve to be respected. Kumbaga, hindi sa atin, bakit natin kukunin? Yun yung mga bagay na kailangan natin i-inculcate sa ating pag-iisip para po kasi we are talking about the culture we are talking about the mindset or the way how we think or the way how it happens in our community. So definitely it cannot be done in an overnight or like a day or a month or a year, but it will proper measures to be introduced by the government, and then if it can be sustained, repeatedly done in our community, then as we go along, tagal ng panahon ay ma-adapt natin yung mga ganun na bawal po, hindi po pwede yung ganun, yung rape, bawal po yan, hindi natin, yun nga, hindi yan sa atin, irespeto natin yung kapwa nating tao, and so on and so forth.
Yan, maraming salamat po. And along po siguro with Islam religion na nagtuturo na ang rape culture or ang rape ay masama at hindi mabuting gawain, ay siguro kailangan din po nating idagdag, or I am sure na kasama sa advocacy and sa education ng Bangsamoro na kailangan nating turuan ang mga lalaki na respetuhin ang mga babae, or otherwise kailangan natin irespeto ang bawat isa. May dadagdag na ba, kapatid?
Totoo yan, no, kapatid. So, napaka-importante talaga ng respect. And yun nga, na dapat mai-engage din natin ang mga men and young boys sa discussion ng gender equality, nang sa ganun ay ma-build nga natin itong maayos na culture sa kanila. At yung taga-partner, inuulit-ulit nga ni Sir Marjanie kanina, yung kahalagahan ng pagkakaroon ng respeto.
Tama. At yung ating religion and of course, yung early education sa ating mga kabataan. Ayan, sir, proceed na po tayo sa ating panlimang tanong. Ay, sir. Ayan. So, sir, proceed na po tayo sa ating panlimang tanong na galing po sa kapatid nating si Jobert.
Ako si Jobert Bulungon Galvez mula sa Sultan Kudarat. At ang tanong ko po ay paano makakatulong ang pagkakaroon ng economic opportunities sa mga kabataan sa Usaping Pangkapayapaan?
Yes. Another very important na tanong, kasi kung titingnan ho natin yung pagkuha ng lasting peace o pangmatagalang pangkapayapaan, hindi lang po isang angle o hindi lang po isang perspective na kailangan natin gamitin para po makuha natin yung pangmatagalang pangkapayapaan. Na-mention ho natin yung education na kailangan para dito sa kapayapaan na to. You also ask about the rape culture, paano natin palitan yung mindset o yung ganun na nangyayari sa ating mga komunidad. Yung BARMM as a government, a regional government, paano ho nila i-ensure na yung recruitment ng violent extremism or yung mga ganung grupo ay hindi po makakuha ng mga kabataan yung kanilang ideology and many more na ganung idea na nakasentro sa pagkuha ng pangmatagalang pangkapayapaan. And this question, the number 5 question is also very important about the economic opportunities at anong relation na to sa kapayapaan. Mayroon ho tayong mga tinatawag na yung peace and development. Dahil ho sinasabi ng ating mga expert na yung kapayapaan na yun kung walang development sa ating lugar, hindi po natin makakamit yung kapayapaan at vice versa, hindi ho natin makakamit yung development kung walang peace and order, kung wala din hong development hindi ho natin makukuha yung peace and order. So it should go hand in hand na dapat ho talaga ay yung economic opportunities ay nandyan para po sa kapayapaan na gusto natin mangyari. I think the best way to answer this is to give a case study or to relate you one area na although di ko na i-mention yung specific pangalan ng area, but there are studies being conducted and I know many more studies will be conducted in the future, pero I have already read and do even deeper study of these areas na dati ay grabe yung violence na nangyayari, may mga of course nandiyan yung patayan, nandiyan yung mga kidnapping, carnapping, mayroon ding mga rape na although hindi ganoon kadami pero may mga ganun cases. Tapos ang pinaka ano lang doon ang pinaka naging susi doon is yung dalawa, peace and order, peace and order, and the economic opportunities and development in that area. So nung nag-start na ho yung mga tao doon na mag-engage ng economic opportunities, mayroon ho mga plantation, mayroon din mga abaca, for example, yung mga coconut, yung nabigyan ho ng opportunities yung mga tao doon na sila ho yung mga taong gumagawa ng mga criminalities and other things. Ngayon ho ay ilang beses na ho sila nananalo ng seal of good local governance. So ibig sabihin, yung peace and order na yun ay anchor ho talaga dyan sa mga economic opportunities. Yung mga tao, sinasabi nila, paano ba naman kami hindi mag-engage ng mga kidnapping, carnapping, yung mga ganyan na wala naman kaming kakainin. Yung mga taong tambay lang, pag dumating yung kaibigan niya, sabihin na, uy, punta tayo doon or gawin natin ito. Dahil wala siyang alam na dapat na mas pagbigyan ng oras, nga nag-i-engage siya doon. Yung mga idea na para yumaman tayo or para makakain yung pamilya natin, kunin natin yun o ibinta natin yun or nakawin natin yun, yun yung mga prevalent situation sa area na walang economic opportunities. Pero common sense would tell us na kung mayroon ba namang disenteng trabaho para sa'yo, sa ano bang pipiliin mo? Yung pagnanakaw sa let's say Kalabaw at ibibinta or doon sa pagpunta ng let's say opisina or may hacienda or may farm ka or may abakang ganyan na marangal na buhay yung sayo or yung pagkuha ng pera ay hindi ho doon sa mga risky na move or mga gawain. So talagang makikita natin doon na ang development or ang economic opportunities kung may mga opportunities lang, may mga chances lang yung mga tao na maka-engage ng business, makapagtanim, ano ba, yung hindi na kailangan na mangutong para lang mabuhay. It really tells us, and it can be proven again and again, na basahin natin sa mga analysis at saka sa mga libro, na talagang very effective po yan na measure para i-combat yung mga criminal activities sa isang lugar. So very much po related yung economic opportunities sa pagkuha ng lasting peace po. And I think Mindanao can be that is why the world is watching us, dahil po tinitingnan nila kung paano natin ibabangon yung matagal nang nakapangalan sa atin na daming mga, ngayon may mga terrorist na, may mga criminal activity sa ating lugar, hindi mapuntahan ng mga dayuhan dahil kinikidnap. Yung mga ganung idea sa pag-iisip ng mga tao, although hindi naman yun lahat sa area natin, pero dahil yun yung mga nababasa sa news, yun yung pinaniniwalaan nila. So the world is watching us kung paano natin ito turn na Bangsamoro. When we speak about Bangsamoro, I develop. When you speak about Bangsamoro, fully educated. When you speak about Bangsamoro, can stand with its own, hindi na kailangan mumingi or hindi na kailangan umasa sa tulong ng ibang bansa, for example, dahil sila nang mismo ay kaya nila ang buhay ng sarili nila with our own resources. Yung mga lupain natin dito, yung kami sa Lanao, yung Liklanaw namin, malaki hong opportunity yun para sa mga tao, pero hindi ho natin yun na-maximize. So we need to do more para po masustain natin yung sinasabi natin na kapayapaan.
Mr. Marjanie, ano na po yung mga concrete steps natin or plan po para masiguro na mag-increase po yung economic opportunities para sa mga kabataan na nasa Mindanao?
Naging choppy po, pero yung tanong mo ba, ano yung mga steps natin to ensure na may mga economic opportunities yung mga kabataan, yun ba?
Yes po, yes po.
Marami po, pero it is very relevant here to mention yung TESDA from the MBHT, Ministry of Basic Higher and Technical Education, na yung mga out-of-school youth po natin na may mga iba't ibang talent, let's say car repair or even cellphone repair, or yung mga iba pa po na pwede silang matuto, yung mga dressmaking o sa mga babae, yung ano pa ba yung mga iba nilang carpenter, mga ganun. Meron ho tayong mga through the MBHTE, meron ho silang mga programa na tinatap tayo or pinapartner tayo para po masiguro natin na yung mga kabataan natin out of school youth ay mabigyan din po ng chance para sila po ay matuto sa mga ganong skills para po para po sa mga hanap buhay nila at mabuhay yung family nila. And then aside from the technical education, mayroon din ho tayong mga programa na yung ano ba yung tawag sa yung mga pitching of the mayroon ho I think last few months yung ginawa natin na nagbibigay ho tayo ng puhunan or capital for the selected group na may mga idea pang business para sa kanilang local communities. Yun ho yung mga kasama sa program natin na kumbaga nagbibigay tayo ng pera para palaguin at minomonitor natin. Then kung successful po yon, then we can give more and we can identify more to the other youth individuals or organizations. Nang sa ganun po ay mas ma-encourage yung mga kabataan or yung mga youth group na mayroon pala talagang opportunities dito sa, let's say, government natin. Kasi ito nga, ako nasa liblib na lugar, ito yung naisip kong business pero wala akong pera, pang kapital, and then here comes this program na nagbibigay sila ng ganitong amount para buhayin yung ganong initiative. At kung mapatunayan natin na talagang yun na effective para po sa kanila, para po sa kanilang lugar, at mapalago yung ganong capital na binigay natin, hindi po imposible na mas suportahan pa tayo ng ating Chief Minister na bigyan mo tayo ng mas malaking budget para po makabigay tayo ng mas marami pang puhunan sa mga iba't ibang organizations.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Marjanie. Ang ganda kapatid, no, na parang bumabalik pa din lahat sa pagkakaroon nga ng access din sa education. And yun nga, partner, na napakahalaga nga na may mga support tayo galing sa government natin, katulad ng ginagawa nila sa Bangsamoro Youth Commission, yung pagbibigay ng grants, ganyan, para masiguro din natin na itong mga kabataan talaga ay nagkakaroon din ng madami pang opportunities. So, Sir Marjanie, kung may gusto pa po ba kayong sabihin sa ating young people in 1 or 2 sentences, ano po yun?
I think I just want to repeat na bigyan po natin ng chance yung Bangsamoro government para i-prove nila kung ano yung iniisip nila na makakabuti sa atin lahat. Because if as early as now we give our negative comments na ganito, ganyan, hindi nila kaya, mas malala ang situation. We are just like 1-year-old government na tinatayo pa namin yung foundation. Hindi po, ang dami-daming mga sabay-sabay na problema na kailangan namin harapin. Even like our Chief Minister, the important codes na kailangan, admin code, local government, and then yung bureaucracy, kailangan i-reorganize or ibalik yung mga nawalan ng trabaho, ganito, ganyan, din screening so that we can make sure nang mailagay dito ay yung mga very qualified na mga tao na magtatrabaho, na maganda yung track record, yung mga ganun ho. So, imposible ho na within 1 year ay makakaya namin ho yun. Kung titingnan natin sa ibang lugar, let's say again, Malaysia, umangat ho sila more than 30 years ho sila. Nila tinrabaho na tuloy-tuloy yung programa ng gobyerno kaya na nakita nila yung pagbabago sa kanilang community. Ganon din ho sa Singapore, more or less 30 years or 40 years kaya na-develop sila. And in Japan, if you want to take the example of Great Britain, 100 years po yan bago sila naging developed na country. So hindi ho yan in a blink of an eye or 1 day, 1 week or 1 month ay mayroon, makikita mo na yung development sa ating mga lugar. Katulad yan ng example natin na kung maitanim ka bang, let's say, anong itatanim mo, mangga or kahit ano, hindi mo yan ma-expect na, or palay, hindi mo yan ma-expect na pag tanim mo dyan ay bukas ay anihin mo na. It really takes time na kailangan ho natin to patiently wait para po doon sa result na yon. At hindi lang po noon, we have to nourish it. We have to work on it para po makuha natin yung resulta na gusto natin. Thank you very much po for this opportunity.
So ayan kapatid, thank you very much Mr. Marjanie. Nako, napaka-relevant po na naging usapan natin at sure po kami na madami din sa ating mga viewers ngayon ang natuwa dahil po sa pagkakataong binigay nyo sa amin na despite nga po alam naman po namin na busy din ang inyong schedule ay nabigyan nyo po kami ng pagkakataon na makausap po kayo.
And
It's my
kapatid,
pleasure.
And nais din nating ipahatid ang ating mga pagbate. Good luck po and congratulations po sa launching of the Bangsamoro Youth Commission and the unveiling of the Bangsamoro Youth Transition Priority Agenda for 2020 and 2023. Sir, lahat po kami sa buong Pilipinas ay praying and hoping that the ideals and aspirations of the Bangsamoro Youth Commission will be achieved for the Bangsamoro people and sa ating mga kabataan students.
We pray. Thank you.
Totoo yan kapatid na Edgar, no? At sana sir, makapunta din po kami sa Bangsamoro region. At makapag-work din po kasama ang ating mga fellow kabataan.
And I think kailangan nating magpaalam kay Sir Marjanie. Maraming salamat po ulit sir and again, good luck po and congratulations sa inyo.
Thank you very much din po. Thank you. Salam.
Ayan. Ayan nga po si Dr. Marjanie Macasalong, ang Chairperson ng Bangsamoro Youth Commission. And sana po ay maraming natutunan ng ating mga audience sa Kabayanihan na episode na ito.
True, kapatid. At we also like to remind our audience pala na ang Kabayanihan sa Usaping Pangkapayapaan ngayon ay bahagi din ng #YouthR 2020 for the celebration ng International Youth Day 2020 in partnership with Positive Youth Development Network. So yan mga kapatid, stay tuned din tayo kasi for the launching of the Bangsamoro Youth Commission and unveiling of the Bangsamoro Youth Transition Priority Agenda 2020 to 2023 after this Kabayanihan. Alam mo kapatid, na-excite talaga ako kasi nga sa naging pag-uusap natin kanina with Sir Marjanie ay ang dami-dami talagang nakalatag din na plans para ma-empower yung mga kabataan na nasa Mindanao.
At hindi lamang yan kapatid, dahil pinapaalalahanan din natin lahat na sumali sa Kabayanihan Challenge sa pagguhit ng poster at pagkuha ng larawan at of course ang pagsulat ng tula.
That's right, kapatid. Kaya naman po sa mga interesado ay inaanyayahan namin na mag-submit sa online kabayanihan@gmail.com o maaari din pong bumisita sa www.rhcare.info/kabayanihan para sa mechanics ng challenge na gusto nyong salihan. At pwede nyo din pong i-like ang UNFPA Philippines FB page at hanapin ang post ng Kabayanihan Challenge.
At para nga ma-inspire ang ating mga kapatid na sumali, ay naka-flash po sa inyong screen ang mga sample works para sa poster making na related sa ating past dialogue session. So paalala lang po namin na kailangan ay dapat related sa ating mga past dialogue episodes ang gagawin yung mga entries. And
alam mo kapatid na Edgar, feeling ko kanina pa naghihintay yung mga audience natin at mga viewers natin kung ano nga ako ba or sino nga ba yung nanalo.
At hindi lamang sila yung excited partner dahil ako ay excited na rin sa mga ganap natin ngayong hapon, sa mga natitirang ganap natin ngayong hapon. Yan.
So sino kaya kapatid? Yung mga maswerte na nanalo, di ba?
Dahil mamimigay tayo ng exciting prizes sa mga tumutok na viewers and commenters sa ating live session ngayong hapon na hatid sa inyo ng UNFPA Philippines at of course powered ng YPR Pilipinas.
So ayan kapatid, ano nga ba or sino nga ba yung mga nanalo?
Yan, i-reveal na natin ang mga winner.
Natin, yes. Sino nga ba ang belong sa ating top 5, kapatid na Edgar?
Bye-bye. Yan.
Grabe, mga early bird ba to?
Yan, reveal na natin ang ating first na winner. Yan.
Ayan, kapatid. So, congratulations, De La Cruz Marine Janet.
At ang ating second winner naman ay walang iba, kundi si ang kapatid natin si Sepiram from Baliza. Sabi niya, good afternoon po, Marites. This is man watching from UNFPA. Congratulations po, Ma'am Sepiram or Marites ba ito kapatid? Hindi ko sure.
So ayan, sino kaya ang ating top 3, kapatid na Edgar?
Yan ang ating top 3 ay reveal na natin yan.
Congratulations, Miss Gina Regalado Morales. So sabi niya, watching from Doña Talaspora Elementary School. Ayan, nakakatuwa, daming nanonood, partner.
At ang ating fourth winner naman ay si... Ayan, ang ating fourth winner ay si Ma'am Ruby Lago Tenilia. Sabi niya, watching from Santo Tomas District Division of La Union. Wow, from La Union. From Ruby Lagaw.
Yes, naimbagal daw yung ako kadagit sa La Union.
Ilocano kami, Net.
Yes. So ayan kapatid na Edgar, sino nga ba ang huli at bubo sa ating Big 5? Yes, parang PBB lang.
Ang ating last winner ay walang iba kundi si...
Congratulations, Miss Delma Alagad mo. Yes, sabi niya, I am still watching from Ortigas, Pasig Life Homes. Congratulations pa sa inyo.
Ayan. At nais din natin ipaalam sa lahat na tayo ay live ngayon sa UNFPA Facebook page at YP Pilipinas. At of course, ang DepEd Philippines kayo, regardless po kung saan kayo nag-comment, ay makikita at makikita namin yan dahil we are using a system for our online streaming. Ayan. Thank you po sa mga nag-comment at congratulations ulit sa ating mga winners for this afternoon.
Yes, kapatid, no? Kaya antayin nyo lamang po yung aming team at don't forget na i-check yung anyong message request. At ayun nga, dahil nga po nasa sa sitwasyon natin ngayon ay pwede pong ma-delay yung mga prizes. Pero of course, mag-intay lamang po tayo dahil darating naman yan for sure.
At yan, we are now down to our last part and we are calling again, ang palagi nating nakakasama every session natin, ang ating visual scribe na walang iba kundi si Kuya Kiko Miranda from the Ateneo de Zamboanga University Subpad Program.
Magandang hapon, Kuya Kiko!
Sa lahat, Happy International Youth Day sa lahat ng mga nanonood. Ayan, nakapaganda ng usapan natin today kasi syempre ako, I'm from Zamboanga City, so malapit din sa akin ang usaping pangkapayapaan, lalo na for us in Mindanao, no? So, yon. I will be sharing with you the visual summary of our session. So, sa mga first time ko nanood ng KaBayanihan, ang ginagawa ko po bilang isang visual scribe ay sinasummarize ko po yung buong session natin kanina through graphics, so through drawing. So habang nakikinig ako sa kwento sa mga kwentuha sa mga sagot ng ating guest speaker na si Dr. Marjanie, no, sinesynthesize ko, I get the big ideas and then I draw them in a visual form. No? So I'm sharing my screen right now. Lumalabas ba? Ayan. So ito po ang aking naging visual summary ng proceedings today, no. Ang guest natin ay si Dr. Marjanie Macasalong, isang member of Parliament of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, and the chairperson of the Bangsamoro Youth Commission. No? In the first question asking about the peace programs farm, Dr. Marjanie mentioned that the establishment of the Bangsamoro government is actually a direct response to achieve lasting peace in the region. He also shared that currently the Bangsamoro government is undergoing the normalization process, which takes time, no? Which takes time, and which leads us to the conversation on the role of the youth in terms of sustaining the peace in the Bangsamoro region. No, Dr. Marjanie mentioned that for the biggest role of the youth is to prepare themselves, or for the adults to help prepare the youth to sustain the peace process. No, one important step or one concrete step in youth participation in the peace process, he mentioned, is the launching of the Bangsamoro Youth Transition Priority Agenda 2020-2023, which is about to launch in a few minutes. In the question also of economic opportunities to achieve lasting peace, Dr. Marjanie mentioned a case study in one of the Bangsamoro regions. No, nung dati laging may dahas, may abuse, may war, kidnappings. No, but when the people were given opportunities such as TESDA, financial grants, or microfinance loans, no, to small businesses, nakita na the access to opportunity is really one of the key factors to achieve lasting peace in the community. He also mentioned that education and peace is very intertwined, that if there is no peace, education, the entire educational system from teachers to families to students are greatly affected. In the question of how to address rape culture, Dr. Marjanie mentioned that in the Islamic teaching, it says there that bawal, haram ang rape, no, sa Islam. And he also mentioned that the respect for every person is one of the integral teachings of Islam, no, and that is and one thing that we have to address, no, going back to the core values and the core teachings of Islam, and also respect for every person. And on the question, lastly, on the question of violent extremism, no, one of the main talagang issues when we talk about Mindanao, no, the threat to violent extremism can be addressed through education of the young people, especially those who do not feel that they belong to society, no. And one concrete step is to make them feel that they are part of the conversation and part of society. That's why the Bangsamoro government is very active in engaging the youth with the Bangsamoro Youth Commission, so that these youth who are kumbaga in the peripheries of society will feel that they are part of government, they are part of society, and that they will be educated and not sacrifice their ideals to join groups, no, with violent ideologies. So that is the summary of today's episode, Kabayanihan sa Usaping Pangkapayapaan. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Kuya Kiko. Grabe, no? Tsaka kapatid na Edgar, na-realize mo ba na ito ng ating last Kabayanihan episode? So, ayan, for sure, hindi lang tayo makakamiss kay Kuya Kiko, pero pati na din lahat ng viewers natin.
At sana po ay magkakasama ulit tayo sa mga susunod pang programs para sa ating mga kabataan. Ayan, maraming salamat po ulit, Kuya Kiko.
Thank you, Kuya Kiko.
Ayan. Sana po ay marami kayong natutunan sa FB Live session na ito. Para sa mga nais pong magkaroon ng certificate, maaari niyo pong puntahan ang link na naka-flash sa inyong screen or sa isa-share ng ating mga kasama sa comment section below. Huwag kalimutang mag-register para sa mga susunod sessions or programs ng UNFPA. At sa mga hindi pa po nakapag-like ng FB page ng UNFPA Philippines at YPR Pilipinas, ay i-like na sila para maka-updated kayo sa mga susunod na ganap ng mga organizations na ito.
Correct ka dyan, kapatid. Kaya naman, tulad din po ng nabanggit natin kanina, inaanyayahan namin lahat na manood, lalo na sa mga may balak sumali sa mga contest at youth grants or the Kabayani Challenge Fund.
Ayan, maraming salamat po sa pagsama sa amin sa Kabayanihan Sessions. Pero bago tayo magtapos, ay nais din natin pasalamatan si Ms. Myla Hernandez, our sign language interpreter from the Link Center for the Deaf, at sa mga nakasama nating nanood.
Yes, kapatid, at pinapasalamatan din po namin ang mga organisasyon na sumuporta sa programang ito. Kabilang na ang Amarella Philippines, Angel C. Palanca Peace Program Foundation Incorporated, I Am Hampas Lupa Movement, Junior Information System Security Association, Junior Social Workers Association of the Philippines, Kabataan sa Katilya ng Katipunan, Pantay, SDG Youth Action Forum, and SGI Philippines Youth and Student Divisions.
Nais natin pasalamatan ang United Nations in the Philippines, ang UN Sustainable Development Support Network, ang UNAID Philippines, UN World Food Program, ang FAO or ang Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations Philippines, nandiyan din ang Peer Organization of the Philippines, ang Mr. Anton Magpantay, and team of the Artist Space Incorporated, ang partner natin dito sa Kabayanihan, at sa lahat po ng member organizations ng YPR Pilipinas. At nais din po namin kunin ang opportunity ito na pasalamatan ang UNFPA Philippines at YPR Pilipinas sa pag-imbita sa amin ni kapatid Alondra para i-host ang inyong Kabayanihan sessions.
Totoo yan, kapatid. So ayan, samahan nyo din po kami pagkatapos nito para sa launching ng Bangsamoro Youth Commission dito lang sa UNFPA Philippines Facebook page. Muli, maraming salamat din po sa Peer Ilocosur at sa board member at kay board member Jaime Jimboy Singson.
At so, sa lahat po ng nakasama nating government agencies sa nakaraang episodes natin, nandiyan ng DOH, ang DepEd, ang DTI, TESDA, ang SEED Philippines at ang Commission on Human Rights at ang nakasama natin kanina, ang Bangsamoro Youth Commission. Maraming salamat po ulit.
Yon, muli po, ako si Alondra.
At ako po si Edgar. Mula
sa Peer Ilocos, a proud member of YPeer Pilipinas.
Maraming salamat mga kapatid sa pakikilahok at magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.
Bye!
Bye po! Stay safe!
Open to all adolescents and young people who want to share their skills online through creating video tutorials. U-Report Challenges, calling all millennials. Join the series of U-Report Challenges that will be rolled out every 2 weeks with different themes and interests for all ages. U-Report Mini Contests. Join our mini contests such as essay writing contest, poster making or photo contest, original song composition contest, and many more. Also introducing YES, Bangsamoro Cultural Exchanges and Learning Events. Cultural exchanges will showcase BARMM adolescents and youths volunteering stories, cultural talents in the form of spoken poetry, dances, artworks. Learning events are carefully designed, online structured learning sessions aimed at enhancing our adolescent and youth knowledge, skills, and attitude requisite of becoming agents of change. U-Report is made possible with its hard-working steering committee from UNICEF, VSO, BYC, CFSI, Maradeka Incorporated, Pakigdait, LAFCOT, Unifil, MinCode, and CBCS. This is U-Report Philippines. Human connection, learning, and youth engagement. Introducing U-Report Live. Watch, engage, learn from the U-Reporters, guests from youth organizations, government officials, ministries, and key stakeholders to talk about issues and updates about the youth in Bangsamoro, live on all our social media platforms. The U-Report Live will also feature special segments featuring COVID-19 youth actions. U-Report Diaries. Want to share your COVID-19 experience or story? Or your COVID-19 initiatives and actions in your community? Or how your community is making a difference during this pandemic? Send us your vlogs or video entries about your community. COVID-19 stories of resilience, hope, and change. U-Report Do It Yourself. Have you learned something new while staying at home during this pandemic? Have skills and talents you want to share to your fellow youth? You are what we are looking for. Open to all adolescents and young people who want to share their skills online through creating video tutorials. You Report Challenges. Calling all millennials. Join the series of You Report Challenges that will be rolled out every 2 weeks with different themes and interests for all ages. You Report Mini Contests. Join our mini contests such as essay writing contest, poster making, or photo contest, original song composition contest, and many more. Also introducing YES, Bangsamoro Cultural Exchanges and Learning Events. Cultural exchanges will showcase BARMM adolescents and youths' volunteering stories, cultural talents in the form of spoken poetry, dances, artworks. Learning events are carefully designed, online structured learning sessions aimed at enhancing our adolescent and youth knowledge, skills, and attitude requisite of becoming agents of change. Your Report is made possible with its hard-working steering committee from UNICEF, VSO, BYC, CFSI, Maradeka Incorporated, Pakigdait, LAFCOD, Unifil, MinCode, and CBCS. This is You Report Philippines. Before this pandemic hit the world, UNICEF and its partners have launched a series of vital programs for the youth and adults in Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. The UNICEF's You Report, the establishment of the Consortium of Adolescents and Youth Networks across the Bangsamoro region, and the development of the Youth Agenda for BARMM. But no pandemic can silence the voice of the youth as agents of change. Amplifying the voice of the youth in the new normal to contribute to peace and development in Bangsamoro, Mindanao. This is You Report Philippines. You Report Philippines recognizes the impact of the digital and online platforms as the new space for human connection, learning, and youth engagement. Introducing You Report Live. Watch, engage, learn from the You Reporters, guests from youth organizations, government officials, ministries, and key stakeholders to talk about issues and updates about the youth in Bangsamoro, live on all our social media platforms. The You Report Live will also feature special segments featuring COVID-19 youth actions. You Report Diaries. Want to share your COVID-19 experience or story? Or your COVID-19 initiatives and actions in your community? Or how your community is making a difference during this pandemic? Send us your vlogs or video entries about your community. COVID-19 stories of resilience, hope, and change. You Report Do It Yourself. Have you learned something new while staying at home during this pandemic? Have skills and talents you want to share to your fellow youth? You are what we are looking for. Open to all adolescents and young people who want to share their skills online through creating video tutorials. You Report Challenges. Calling all
Magandang araw po sa mga kapatid nating nasa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao at sa buong mundo na nakatutok sa atin via Facebook livestream. Ay bumabati sa inyo ng isang maligayang pagdiriwang ng International Youth Day. Handog po ng United Nations Youth Tactical Group sa Mindanao na kinabibilangan ng United Nations Population Fund, United Nations Children's Fund, United Nations Development Program, UN Women, Food and Agriculture Organization ng United Nations at ng International Labor Organization. Katuwang ang Bangsamoro Government at ang Bureau of Public Information at ng Bangsamoro Youth Commission, pati na rin ng YPR Pilipinas. Mula po dito sa Bangsamoro Government Center sa Cotabato City. Ako po si Ace Fiesta at ako po ang inyong makakasama ngayong hapong ito sa State of the Bangsamoro Youth Address at launching ng Bangsamoro Youth Commission at ng unveiling ng Bangsamoro Youth Priority Agenda taong 2020-2022. At kanina lamang po mga kapatid ay ating natunghayan ang kabayanihan sa Usaping Pangkapayapaan kasama ang ating mga kapatid na si Alondra at si kapatid na Edgar. At mamaya-maya at nakasama nila kanina si Dr. Marjanie Macasalong, ang Chairperson po ng Bangsamoro Youth Commission at mamaya-maya ay maririnig natin siya sa kanyang paghahatid ng State of the Bangsamoro Youth Address. And since we celebrate today, no, mga kapatid, the International Youth Day, alam nyo ba, mga kapatid, na noong 1999, unang itinalaga ng UN General Assembly, ang August 12 bilang International Youth Day. Tama kayo mga kapatid. Ito ay pinagdiriwang bawat taon upang magbigay ng kahalagahan sa papel ng mga kabataan bilang mga essential partners sa pagbabago at upang magbigay ng isang pagkakataon to raise awareness sa mga challenges na hinaharap ng mga kabataan tulad natin. No, at ngayong taon po ay ang tema ng IYD ay Youth Engagement for Global Action. Talaga nga namang the youth can be engaged for global action. No? Imagine kapag lahat no, ng kabataan ay kumilos para sa ating lipunan at nagtipon-tipon. Napakaganda po ang mangyayari sa ating lipunan. No, at saka tayong mga kabataan kasi ay natuto na rin, no, tulad nga ng sinasabi ng karamihan na we cannot let the past happen again, di ba? Kaya naman sa atin hihinto at sa atin huminto ang mga hindi kanais-nais na gawain at sa atin rin magsisimula ang pagbabago. At saka naniniwala ako sa kasabihan na talaga pag little things when compiled become big. No, at if there is a will, there is a way. Tama ba yung mga kapatid, no? Kapag may gusto, may paraan. At ngayong araw din, mga kapatid, ay maririnig natin mula kay MP Marjanie Macasalong ang Bangsamoro Youth Transition Priority Agenda para sa taong 2020 to 2022. At alam nyo ba, mga kapatid, na ayon sa Section 13, Article 9 ng RA 11054 o ng Bangsamoro Organic Law, the Bangsamoro government shall recognize the vital role of the youth in nation building, promote and protect their physical, moral, spiritual, intellectual, and social well-being. And it shall inculcate patriotism and nationalism, encourage involvement in public and civil affairs, and promote mental and physical fitness through sports. No? The Parliament shall create a bylaw, a commission on youth affairs, and shall define its powers, function, and compensation.
Kaya naman ngayong hapong ito ay officially ila-launch si Bangsamoro Youth Commission. Kaya naman napakahalaga ng araw na ito para sa Kabataang Bangsamoro at isang magandang paraan upang ipagdiwang ang International Youth Day dito sa Bangsamoro Region. At dahil sa wakas ay isa-isa na ring makakamtan ang mga nakapaloob sa Bangsamoro Organic Law. And we are live via Facebook. Please comment down below kung if you're or where you're watching from,
Mga pangako'y tutuparin. Habang buhay kami sa'yo'y magpapantay, mananatili sa puso't isipan. Ang lahat ay na nagbuwis ng buhay, nasa piling ng may kapal.
At mga kapatid, kasalukuyan po nating naririnig ang BARMM hymn. At inyo pong napakinggan ang BARMM hymn. Tayo pa rin po ay live mula po sa Bangsamoro Government Center at please comment kung saan po kayo nanonood, kung anong parte po ng mundo kayo nanonood, Sabi ni Norhana, yes, Happy International Youth Day. Regards everyone. Happy International Youth Day din po, Miss Norhana. Stay tuned po mga kapatid for the launching ng Bangsamoro Youth Commission. Kasama niyo pa rin po kami mula po dito sa Bangsamoro Government Center sa Cotabato City. Nakikita na natin na nagsa-start na po, kasalukuyan po nagsa-start ang programa sa loob po ng Sheriff Kabunsuan Cultural Complex. Sila rin po ay live mula sa Bangsamoro Government na page at sa Bangsamoro Youth Commission.
Pagod din pala magsalita, Simula umaga hanggang hapon, nandito tayo. Pero alhamdulillah, we've been with the Bangsamoro Short Film Festival kaninang umaga. Nakita natin yung mga ngiti at tuwa ng bawat isa. At ngayon naman, tutunghayan natin ang ngiti ng lahat, kabataan, pati sa labas ng Bangsamoro.
Yes naman, sobrang nakakapagod. But because this is for the Bangsamoro youth, not only in the region, but all over the globe, hindi tayo napapagod and we are willing to go beyond what is limit. Right, Yana?
Yes, tama kayo dyan mga kaka. We need to be prepared because this year, we are celebrating the International Youth Day 2020 under a pandemic. Akalain nyo, oo naman, but fortunately, here in the Bangsamoro region, the show must go on and the BYC has prepared a lot for you ngayong hapon.
Tama ka dyan, Rihanna. And dahil dyan, welcome again to the part 2 of International Youth Day. Dito pa rin yan sa Bangsamoro region. And this afternoon, this is the state of the Bangsamoro Youth Address and the presentation of the Bangsamoro Youth Transition Priority Agenda hanggang 2022. Are you guys excited?
Wala man ako marinig.
Dama ko yung
Are you guys excited?
Sabay-sabay nga. 1, 2, 3. Are you guys excited?
I'm excited.
Basta excited ako.
So, ayun, dahil lahat naman tayo ay excited, no? Kuya Hussein, dama mo ba ang excitement nila?
Oo, sobrang excited nila. Nandito na sila kanina.
Parang mas nadarama kita
diba?
ngayon. Parang mas nadarama kita ngayon na excited.
Oh.
Yes, but of course, lahat ng ito ay mas mabibigyan linaw pa with our very own nagbabalik po ulit. Ang Chief of Programs and Operations Officer of the Bangsamoro Youth Commission, the one and only our mentor and our kaka, ladies and
At sa puntong
gentlemen.
itong ating papakinggan ang opening remarks mula sa Programs and Operations Chief ng Bangsamoro Youth Commission na si Mr. Nas Dunding.
Once again, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Mukhang yung energy ng mga kabataan ng Bangsamoro ay hindi sumusuko. Mataas pa rin yung energy natin hanggang ngayon simula kaninang umaga nang sinimulan natin ang selebrasyon nitong taon para sa taong ito ng International Youth Day dito sa Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Ngayong hapon naman po ay matutunghayan po ng bawat kabataang Bangsamoro at lahat po ng stakeholders ng Bangsamoro kung ano na nga po ba ang status, ano na nga po ba ang estado ng mga kabataang Bangsamoro pagdating sa usapin ng kanilang mga issues, usapin ng paglago ng kanilang pagiging kabataan sa rehiyong ito at iba pa. Maya-maya po ay maririnig niyo po, yan ang nilalaman po ng ating State of the Bangsamoro Youth Address ng aming pong Chairperson, walang iba po si MP Marjanie Macasalong. Nagpapasalamat po tayo, palakpakan po natin, nandito po kasama po natin ang Minister po ng Ministry of Basic, Higher and Technical Education, Sir Mohager Ekbal, na magbibigay din po ng inspirasyon sa ating lahat. Kaninang umaga ay ang nanalo po sa ating photography contest ay yung portrait po ng isang kabataan at ang kanyang ina na nagsisikap na makapag-aral sa kabila ng sila'y walang kuryente at nasa malayong lugar sila. Naway maging produktibo ang hapong ito para sa ating lahat. Once again, maligayang pagbati po mula sa Bangsamoro Youth Group.
At iyon po mga kapatid, ating napakinggan ng opening remarks mula sa Programs and Operations Chief ng Bangsamoro Youth Commission na si Mr. Nas Dunding. Maraming salamat po, Kaka Nas. At meron po tayong mga watchers from Mandaluyong at from Non-Violent Peace Force Field Office. Hello po, magandang hapon po. And from Quezon City and from Basilan. Happy viewing po sa ating live.
Of your monitor, whether
At ayun nga mga kapatid, mamaya-maya ay mapapakinggan natin si MP Marjanie Macasalong para sa kanyang State of the Bangsamoro Youth Address. At kaninang umaga mga kapatid ay tayo po ay nagkaroon ng awarding ceremony para sa Bangsamoro Short Film Peace Festival and Photography Contest. Tayo po ay mapapakinggan na po natin si Mr. Ryan Enriquez, ang Chairperson po ng National Youth Commission. Atin po pakinggan ang kanyang mensahe.
It's an honor and privilege for me to meet with everyone whose aspirations are aligned with the precepts of the Islamic culture, blended with similar concerns of the Filipino youth in general. I believe that our cultural diversity as Filipinos must be respected Yet, we should establish that common ground that promotes harmonization of policies, plans, programs, and advocacies for the Filipino youth. The IYD team Youth Engagement for Global Action seeks to highlight the ways in which the involvement of young people at various levels provide enriching impact. The national and multilateral institutions and processes also taking into account all the lessons learned. Please allow me to share some insights on how young people and youth leaders like you can engage meaningfully at the national and local levels to positively influence others. At the national level, we are advocating for aligning programs, projects, and activities with the 9 centers of youth participation outlined in the Philippine Youth Development Plan, or PYDP, and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. I encourage everyone.
For Health Center of Participation, you are encouraged to help promote healthy lifestyle that includes nutrition, physical exercises, medical and dental attention, as well as reproductive health, HIV and teenage pregnancy awareness, and prevention, as well as psychosocial intervention to promote better mental health. On the other hand, the Education Center of Participation encourages you to coordinate with the school authorities in your area, either to assist in the production of learning materials or to provide school supplies to the marginalized student, or better yet, to be volunteer teachers' assistants. For the Economic Empowerment Centers of Participation, you may propagate social entrepreneurship, especially in the mass production of face masks and face shields or food packs. You can apply your inherent creativity and resourcefulness. In regard to social inclusion and equity, centers of participation, it is best to recognize the inputs and recommendations of our brothers and sisters from indigenous communities, those with special needs and disabilities, as well as being conscious about gender balance, respect to the LGBTQIA+, and violence against women and children. On the aspect of peace building and security, we encourage you to conduct activities to instill the importance of discipline as law-abiding citizens in the consciousness of young people, as well as awareness campaigns against the deceptive recruitment of young people that may snatch you away from your families and comforts of your home because of your vulnerabilities. On governance, the Sangguniang Kabataan carries the torch of governance at the local communities. That is why it is more appropriate to participate or to provide insights to the ordinance they issue, especially on non-discrimination of health workers and frontliners in the community. For the Environment Center of Participation, you are encouraged to organize and participate in commemorative activities for the youth in Climate Action Day every November 27 through coastal cleanup activities or disaster risk reduction and management training, among others. Lastly, for the Global Mobility Centers of Participation, aside from your participation in youth exchanges with other countries, like for example, the SHIP for Southeast Asian and Japanese Youth Program, or SEAP, not this year, but hopefully in 2021. And with other countries, you may also consider the aspect of preventing human trafficking. Likewise, there are other opportunities to represent the Philippines in activities initiated by the ASEAN Secretariat, the United Nations, and many others. Are you now inspired and motivated by this litany? I hope you are. As young people comprising Generation Z, you have the gift of proficiency in the use of technology. Maximize the use of social media to disseminate information that will bring hope, ally peers, and encourage each one never to give up, especially during these times of failures. If only each one of you learns to be accepting, grateful, and helpful, there will be less conflicts and understanding will prevail. Let us remember that in this life, we all have assigned roles to play with the guidance from above. Finally, let me take a stanza of a poem written by Michael Josephson. Living a life that matters doesn't happen by accident. It is not a matter of circumstance, but of choice. Choose a life that matters. The National Youth Commission is with you in this journey. This is your ally, Ryan Enriquez. Mabuhay ang Kabataang Pilipino.
At inyo pong napakinggan ang mensahe ni Yusek Ryan Enriquez, ang Chairperson ng National Youth Commission. Maraming salamat po sa NYC, sa inyong suporta at sa pagbabahagi ng inyong suporta dito po sa aming launching ngayong hapong ito. At nakikita natin si kasamang Raid at kasamang Hussein sa stage na live ngayon sa Sheriff Kabunsuan Cultural Complex.
Our own community and advocating our cause para sa bansa.
Tama ka dyan, Hussein. At speaking of the youth, speaking of kabataan, alam mo ba na ang Bangsamoro government, the Bangsamoro struggle, the Bangsamoro cause ay nagsimula rin sa grupo ng mga kabataan. Grupo ng mga kabataan. I don't know particularly what generation they fall, but ang alam natin is they are young generation, they are young women and men who fight for our right to self-determination. And right now, I am very glad to introduce the person behind, or the person who is heading right now the Ministry of Basic, Higher and Technical Education. Please welcome Minister Mohagir Iqbal. A big hand, please.
At ating pong mapapakinggan ang mensahe mula sa Minister ng Basic, Higher and Technical Education na Bangsamoro Autonomous Region na si Minister Mohagir Iqbal. At habang hinihintay po natin si Minister Iqbal, ay magbabasa po tayo ng mga comments. Sabi po ni Anastasia Deniega Solitario, good afternoon po. Watching from South Sindangan District. #LearnAsOnePH. At atin na pong mapapakinggan si Minister Iqbal.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My courtesies and high respect to the Chair of the Bangsamoro Youth Commission, at the same time, Member of Parliament, and also a member of the MIL Peace Implementing Panel, Marjanie, Macasalong. Other youth leaders under the Bangsamoro Youth Commission, our friend from one of the UN agencies, Mr. Andrew Morris, to all of you who are with us this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To be very frank with you, I'm asked to render an inspirational speech or message. The problem is that while we aspire to inspire people, but sometimes the reverse will happen. Instead of inspiring people, Maybe in some instances, your speech will not inspire them. But that is not the real point. The real point is that whether it inspires people or not, the first thing which is very important is that the words are coming from the bottom of my heart. And as far as I can, I speak the truth and what is good for our people. Few days ago, there was a big gathering here, also involving the scions or the sons and daughters of those who started the struggle of the Moro people. I'm referring to the so-called top 90 and the top 300 who undertook military training in a certain country outside of the Philippines. While it is common knowledge, which is that country, but until today, that country never accepted that it really did or conducted the training for the 90 and 300 Moro youth who train in jungle warfare and guerrilla warfare. It was a gathering of the elders with whom I called a gathering of young ones and young ones. The first young ones are those who were once upon a time young. So the spelling of ones is O-N-C-E. So young ones. And the other young ones, the spelling is O-N-E-S. So indeed it was a gathering of young ones and young ones. You know, while we acknowledge and accept the reality that you are young, but you know, once upon a time, we are also young. No one can boast that he's 16 years old because several decades ago, I was also 16-year-old. So it's just a matter of time. And essentially, there are no old people. It just happened that some are born ahead of others, while others are born later. And basically, the matter of age is a state of mentality. It's only in the mind. If you feel that you are young, like Mr. Andrew Morris and me, then we can still be young. Eh? We can still be young. But the catch is that in Manila, when I was a student there, meron mga babae na gusto nila triple M ang mapangasawa nila. Bakit? Kasi yung triple M, matanda, madaling mamatay. Lalong-lalo na po yung mga mayayaman ng mga matatanda. Kaya gusto nila yon, yung triple M, matanda, madaling mamatay. Although we cannot be sure that
At tayo po ay nakaka-experience ng technical difficulties. No, pero sa kasalukuyan po ay nagsasalita si Minister Mohaker Iqbal, no, ng Basic, Higher and Technical Education. At habang inaayos po ng aming team ang ating live, no? Tayo po ay magbabasa ng comments, and please comment where you are from para naman ma-acknowledge po namin kayo dito sa amin live. Sabi po ni Harvey de los Santos, CDIS SSG officers watching from Sagay City, Negros Occidental. Sabi naman ni Brandon Luigi A. Lofranco, congrats all DepEd family. More power and God bless.
The wisdom of the elders and the idealism of the youth. I think we have a perfect equation.
Si Minister Mohaker Ikba.
We have a perfect equation. For elders like us, because we have undergone so much hardships, sacrifices, so many obstacles along the way, from our long experiences, and then we draw from there both hard lessons and good lessons. Then at the end of the day, the elders acquire wisdom, because wisdom are the result, or is the result of experiences. We have so much experiences. That's why, while I'm not saying that I have that wisdom, but it is the result or the consequence of experiences that people would be blessed with wisdom. So that's one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is that the youth are full of idealism. They are bold and daring, and they have access to new skills and ideas. So if we can blend effectively and harmoniously the wisdom of the elders and the idealism of the youth, I think we have a perfect equation. There is something in us that you do not possess. There is something in you that you do not possess. Idealism is only with the youth, but not for us. For the elders like me, I am so
Tayo po ulit ay nakakaranas ng technical difficulties. Kasalukuyan pong nagsasalita si Minister Mohaker Iqbal ng Ministry of Basic, Higher, and Technical Education bilang keynote speaker. Sabi po ni Maria Cecilia Vasconcillo, good PM po from Lucrecia R. Casilag, Senior High School, Quezon City, working from home. Hello po, Ma'am Cecilia. You're breaking my heart. Char.
involving the Moro people.
Ayan, naisaayos na. Ayan. Shoutout nga po pala sa ating mga teachers na nag-work from home, no? Maraming salamat po sa pagtutok sa aming live. Napapansin ko puro teachers ang mga nanonood sa atin ngayon. Ayan mga kapatid, kasalukuyan pong
in Mindanao.
nagsasalita si Minister Iqbal ng Ministry of Basic, Higher and Technical Education. At mamaya-maya po ay mapapakinggan natin si MP Marjanie Macasalong para sa kanyang State of the Bangsamoro Youth Address. At isang napakahalagang ano ba? Pagtitipon ang nangyayari ngayon sa Bangsamoro Government Center kasabay ng pagdiriwang ng International Youth Day ay ang pag-launch ng Bangsamoro Youth Priority Agenda para sa taong 2020 to 2022 at ng Bangsamoro Youth Commission.
1997, when we saw
At tayo din po ay nakastream via YouReport Philippines. Hello po sa mga nanonood sa atin mula sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao via live stream. Tayo pa rin po ay live dito sa Bangsamoro Government Center dito po sa Cotabato City. At mamaya-maya mapapakinggan natin ano nga ba ang estado ng kabataang Bangsamoro dito po sa Bangsamoro region at ano po ang magiging plano o magiging tulong na ibibigay ng BYC sa mga kabataang Bangsamoro. Atin po yang mapapakinggan mamaya mga kapatid. Sabi ni Rashid Guetta, good afternoon po from Pasig. Good afternoon din po from Cotabato City. Sabi po ni Miss Maribel Empleo Calalo, shout out daw po kay Ma'am Janet Merin de la Cruz. Hello po Miss Janet, welcome po sa ating live stream. Sabi ni Ron Quijano, hi po, good afternoon. Watching from Colonia Divina, Sagay City, SSG. Hello po. At kaninang umaga mga kapatid, nagkaroon po tayo ng awarding ceremony ng Bangsamoro short film festival. Ang mga short film po ay pinilabas din sa Bangsamoro Youth Commission na Facebook page at ni-livestream po siya last week or last Monday at po ata yun. And makikita natin ang mga istorya ng Bangsamoro, no, in a digital platform. Ayun naman talaga ang mga paraan natin ngayon, lahat online na, di ba? Lalo na sa panahon ngayon ng pandemya. At huwag po nating
forma. Because in the Philippines, basically lahat ng political parties ito pare-pareho man eh.
Ating po napapakinggan muli
Except
si Minister Iqbal.
Political party ni Pimentel, PDP Laban. At the start, ang PDP Laban talagang may plataforma. At klaro ang plataforma. At it is pro-people. Diba? But eventually, because of the coming in of so many political personalities, so hindi nila na-maintain yung purity ng political party na yan. And then, aside from that, we need to establish a government that is moral governance. Moral governance. And moral governance, one of the essential features of moral governance is accountability. And that accountability is not only before men. Or, pag natapos mo ang isang project, kompleto ang papilis na pirmahan, then accepted ng boss, that's already accountability. Hindi ganyan. Ang accountability na sinasabi natin on the basis of moral governance, lahat ng ginagawa natin, nakikita man ng Allah. So you must be accountable to the people, and then you must be accountable to God, to Allah. Yan ang moral governance. At importante dito, yung people's empowerment. Ma-empower natin ang taong bayan. Because in the Philippines, especially in the BARMM, it's not a government of the people. It's a government of the few. Sa election natin, during election, 3 days or 2 days before the conduct of election, tapos ng election eh. Di ba? Ilang tao lang ang bumuboto, sumusulat. Kaya, with due respect, wala akong sinasabi, yung nananalo, hindi yun ang choice ng taong bayan. Kasi ang bumoto, ilang tao lang. Di ba? So dahil dyan, kailangan natin magkaroon tayo ng reforms dyan. Na ang kakandidato halimbawa, ay yung talagang makatao, makadiyos, at saka talagang ang kanilang puso ay para sa taong bayan. So, people empowerment, kailangan ma-empower natin ang taong bayan. Dahil pag na-empower natin ang taong bayan, boboto sila, ang iboboto nila yung mabubuti at yung magagaling at competent. Di ba? At kailangan mabilang yung botante nila. Kasi pag hindi yan mabilang, sayang. Di ba? And then, pagkatapos diyan, dito sa electoral struggle, kasama diyan yung ma-uplift natin ang living condition ng taong bayan. You know, Malaysia got its independence 11 years after the Philippines. Malaysia got its independence 11 years after the Philippines. The Philippines got its independence in 1946. Malaysia had its independence in 1957, so 11 years. So pag tingnan mo, ang sitwasyon ng Malaysia, mas economically developed. Kasi in a certain country, there are 3% yung mga mayayaman. And then ang sumunod sa kanila, yung middle class. And then sumunod yung marginalized, yung pobre, the poor, which is around 70 to 80% of the population. Dito sa Pilipinas, because it is a very capitalistic country, similar to most of the countries in the world, capitalism is very strong. Capitalism means you can own the world. You can own the world. Do not care for the other person. That is basically what is capitalism. But communism naman, ang Estado ang may-ari, walang private property. Pero Islam offers a middle course. You can earn as much as you can through legitimate means, but a certain portion of your wealth meron niya para sa taong bayan. That is what we call the zakat. It's the share of the poor people in your wealth. You can earn, but you must see to it that you have to pay the zakat, which is owned by the people. It is prohibited to you na hindi mo yan ibigay. So kailangan natin ma-uplift natin. Anong ginawa ng Malaysia? They divided yung mga vast tract of lands, malawak na lupa sa Malaysia, hinati-hati nila, 5 hectares, binigay nila sa isang pobre, sinuportahan nila. So, hindi lang natin binibilang yung 1,000. Marami masyado. Kaya na-elevate yung Kasi yung poor, dumami ang middle class. So, na-even ang yung economic situation ng lugar. And then, if the people have a lot of wealth, tataas ang economy ng isang bansa. Kaya I was amazed because the Japanese are investing so much money in Mindanao especially, without getting anything in back. Pero then finally, I was able to realize that the Japanese are not really getting back what is due for their money because lahat yan karamihan grant yan Yung pala, the philosophy is that once the people in the Philippines or in the Bangsamoro become wealthy or rich, then they will buy everything from car to dump truck to tractor, etc., refrigerator, etc., etc. So, ang return, mas malaki pa. Pero dito sa atin, may monopoly. There is a monopoly. So, we need to uplift the economic situation of our people. And then, dito sa electoral struggle natin, because we have that autonomy, may 49 na powers, at mayroon fiscal autonomy, and then, ang pinagsisikapan natin ito, quality education. The standard of education in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Mindanao is very, very much lower than Manila. A graduate of high school here is equivalent to grade 6 in Metro Manila. So we need to uplift the quality of education in the BARMM. This is the key to progress. In the Quran, the first word that was given to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the Arabic word ikra, means read, and that is knowledge, that is education. As sinabi dyan sa Quran, whoever earns a knowledge for education, iba na ang talagang mangyari sa kanya. Di ba? So, importante ang education. The right education. What is that right education? For me, and probably all of you, the right education is that education that addresses the temporal needs of man as well as the needs of man in the day hereafter. If education addresses only the temporal requirements of man and forgets what is for the day hereafter, lugi tayo. Lugi tayo. There are many things that we can discuss here, but I know that we don't have the benefit of time, and I'm just rendering an inspirational message, which I do out, whether I'm inspiring you or not. But what is important is that I am saying my piece from the bottom of my heart. Finally, I would like to congratulate once again the Bangsamoro Youth Commission, especially the chair, Marjanie Macasalong, who is also a member of the MP, as well as all the other leaders, youth leaders who are with us this afternoon. This is an achievement. Try to continue this one, and there are so many things that you can do. You can do for the sake of our people, to improve the lot of our people. Marami kayong magagawa. Maraming salamat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum assalam. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khairan. Thank you so much to the Ministry of Basic Higher Technical Education. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah.
Ang Minister ng Basic Higher and Technical Education ng Bangsamoro Autonomous Region na si Minister Muhaker Iqbal.
Of MBHTE, kindly share those inspirations sa inyo in the comment section down below. I'm very inspired, Yana, sa sabi ni Sir kanina.
Yes, kung meron po kayong nakuha
para malaman natin, let's cultivate kahit gaano pa yan, filthy na lang, para malaman natin kung ano ba talaga yung naglalaban ng Bangsamoro.
You might want to tweet or post it using the hashtag BARMM and IYD 2020.
Because tomorrow is never
Nakikita
promised.
po natin sa screen
si kasamang
Raid at si kasamang Yana
leaders,
sa Sheriff Kabunsuan Cultural Complex.
I-empower natin yung mga kapwa natin kabataan dahil tayo lang din ang magtutulungan para sa nation building.
Yes naman. At dahil dyan, ano ba yung sunod na ipapakilala?
Yes, as we mentioned earlier, a group of young moral leaders and young Moro youth leaders gathered and stand up to right to self-determination, and one of them is leading the Bangsamoro Revolution and Bangsamoro Transition. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome. It's with honor and privilege to introduce to you our Chief Minister Ahod Alhaj Murad Balawag Ibrahim.
Let's all watch this.
Yes. Let's give it
po natin ang mensahe. The Chief Minister Ahod Balawag Ibrahim, ang Chief Minister ng Bangsamoro Autonomous Region.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Let me begin by congratulating Dr. Marjanie SM Macasalong, a fellow member in the Bangsamoro Transition Authority and the concurrent chairperson of the Bangsamoro Youth Commission, along with his vibrant colleagues, for the success of this year's celebration of the International Youth Day and the presentation of the state of the Bangsamoro Youth Affairs. I understand that most of our sons and daughters are probably agitated by the restrictions brought upon by the pandemic and the bureaucratic nature of the Bangsamoro transition. While these things are valid, it may also perhaps provide us areas of learning and wisdom. Remember that in a world where everything is done instantaneously, patience can become a rare commodity. And this is one virtue that we value so much, especially at the height of our struggle. Spending almost 2 decades to find there are certain values and virtues that you, as youth, are obliged to continue the struggle in the context of building the Bangsamoro bureaucracy. At the end of it all, whatever we have worked for, whatever the sacrifices made by our forefathers and brothers in the struggle, are dedicated for the benefit of the next generation, and you are that generation. It is imperative that in this year's International Youth Day, the Bangsamoro youth shall recall our long history that lead to where we are now, and to slowly become forward-looking men and women who can become the catalyst of a region that we can all be proud of, inshallah. My dear sons and daughters, the road towards a more progressive Bangsamoro is now in your hands. Whatever you are doing now, do it with passion, with love, and most importantly, do it for our people and for the sake of Almighty Allah. We are committed in providing platforms for the youth to excel, be it in academics, in culture, and the arts, and in social. We are committed in providing platforms for the youth to excel, be it in academics, in culture and the arts, and in socio-civic aspects. After all, it is with opportunities like these that leaders are formed and hopefully pave way to a new breed of Bangsamoro leaders that can transform our homeland and people. Once again, thank you for having me here, and may the commemoration of the International Youth Day 2020 be a fruitful experience to all of us. Thank you and wassalamu alaikum.
Atin pong napakinggan si Chief Minister Ahod Balawag Ibrahim. And joining us this afternoon is the President and CEO of YPR Pilipinas, si Kuya Ralph Ivan Samson. Welcome po sa ating program.
Hi, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikum assalam.
Kumusta ka?
Okay lang naman po, ikaw.
Ayan, I'm very, very happy. No? Although andito tayo sa Metro Manila, but I can feel the vibrance of the excitement sa mga kapatid nating Bangsamoro youth. Especially me coming from the Moro region. No? Sobrang proud na proud ako na meron na tayong parang National Youth Commission in our own region in the Bangsamoro. At sabi nga kanina ni MP Marjanie ay maganda dahil ito yung magiging plataforma na kung saan pwede tayong makilahok doon sa usapin ng governance, sa peace and security, mismo sa loob ng Bangsamoro region. At go back tayo, dito is, no, sa ating State of the Bangsamoro region kasi based sa ating program ay mapapakinggan natin ngayon, live na live, ang ating representative mula sa Bangsamoro Youth Commission, walang iba kundi si Member of the Parliament and Chairperson ng Bangsamoro Youth Commission, si Mr. Marjanie Macasalong.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. And a very good afternoon to everyone. To our guests, the Minister of MBHT, Sir Mohagar Iqbal, my mentor, our chairman in the panel, MP Malik Mantawel, hindi napapagod na sumusuporta sa amin, always there, Mr. Andrew Morris, one of the agencies of the United Nations, staffs of other MPs, member of the Parliament. I've seen the staffs of the Speaker, Attorney Ali Pangalian Balindong, our partners from different civil society organizations and international governmental organizations. In 1999, the United Nations General Assembly endorsed the recommendation made by the World Conference of Ministers responsible for youth, calling for August 12 to be declared as International Youth Day. This day is commemorated every year to bring youth issues to the attention of the international community and celebrate the youth ideas, creativity, energy, and contributions to the progress of their societies across the globe. It is very timely that as we commemorate International Youth Day, we recognize our Bangsamoro youth efforts to the establishment of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. The Bangsamoro youth have had active and important participation in the struggle for the self-determination and meaningful autonomy that lasted for decades. I am humbled by the presence of the youth who were responsible for the Bangsamoro government that we have now, full of resilience, strengthened by the passion to achieve self-governance, gender equality, and meaningful participation in the issues affecting them. They were once young as we are right now, and it seems like they do not age at all. As Minister Iqbal had already mentioned, na dati din sila mga student and they were doing this struggle in order for us to have a better life. I also would like to honor those who have gone before us. Of course, my late father and other compatriots. I would like to especially mention here the name of Ustad Salamat Hashim, Allah yarhamu, because when he died, I was beside him in one of our jungles in Butig, who in their youth had stood up and rallied rather this noble cause. Indeed, our elders fought for the establishment of this government, embraced and faced all challenges precisely to give the Bangsamoro youth a better future. Let us not forget that our elders were once part of the youth at the time when they fought for what we are enjoying right now, Bangsamoro, the BARMM, a product of the struggle of the youth of yesterdays. On February 28, 2020, this government created the Bangsamoro Youth Commission, an avenue where the youth can participate and be heard, a unit of the government where their ability, skills, and time are recognized and put to action, a base where they can grow, and an office where opportunities and chances are available. I will take this opportunity to thank my colleagues in the BTA Parliament who showed their full support for the immediate establishment of the Bangsamoro Youth Commission through the approval of the Bangsamoro Autonomy Act No. 10, an act creating and establishing the Bangsamoro Youth Commission, defining its powers, functions, and responsibilities. Let me share with you very quickly on the silent future of the law. The plenary defined shall have the same status as the other agencies or offices of the Bangsamoro Regional Government attached to the office of the Chief Minister. The Chairperson shall be part of the expanded cabinet of the Chief Minister. The Commission is mandated to be the primary policy-making and coordinating body of the Bangsamoro government in all matters affecting the youth. The Commission shall be composed of one Chairperson and 4 regular commissioners representing the major political subdivisions of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. It shall also have 2 ex officio commissioners coming from the non-Moro indigenous people and settler communities who shall have the right to participate and vote. And finally, at least 2 of the commissioners shall be women. The Commission shall have a youth coordinating council. The council shall be headed by a chairperson of the Commission and composed of senior officers and representatives of the agencies with policy formulating functions of the following: the Ministries of Basic, Technical, and Higher Education, Science and Technology, Social Services, Local Government, Environment, Natural Resources and Energy, Labor and Employment, Agriculture, Fisheries and Agrarian Reform, Health, Trade and Investment and Tourism, Indigenous Peoples and Affairs, Bangsamoro Women Commission, Offices of Settler Communities, Sports and Religious Affairs, and such other ministries, offices, commission, agencies, and other instrumentalities that have relevant programs as may be determined by the Chief Minister. The clock ticks faster than I thought. It has already been more than a year since I assumed as head of then Office of Bangsamoro Youth Affairs, OBYA, now the Bangsamoro Youth Commission. From the start, we remained optimistic but made sure to acknowledge the obstacles ahead of us. One of the major challenges confronting the BYC, functions and human resources, will be able to meet BYC's policymaking and coordinating mandate. Today, I stand before you on behalf of the entire BYC team, full of pride as I present some key accomplishments of the Bangsamoro Youth Commission. In this time of pandemic, the Bangsamoro Youth Commission conducted the Lingkod Kabataan Bangsamoro, a humanitarian relief operation that distributes relief goods to our Bangsamoro youth in all Bangsamoro provinces. Through this program, we have catered in Tawi-Tawi with 40 organizations and 200 Bajau youth individuals, in Lanao with 6 organizations and 300 youth individuals, in Maguindanao with 98 youth organizations with ISKIs, in North Cotabato with youth organizations and cater also to 1 evacuation center in Piquet, and in Cotabato City with 15 youth organizations, in Sulu with 14 youth organizations and 123 youth individuals. On July 23, 2020, we held the Young Ulama activity entitled Forum on Peace and Security Issues in the Lens of Religious Sector. Emerging issues on peace and security that involve the religious sector and the youth had been discussed. This is an outlet to engage the young Islamic scholars in the discussion of peace and security. In June 2019, in partnership with OPAP, consultation with the youth on peace and security had been held. This is in response to the government's policy to inclusivity in the peace and development agenda. This process of consultation is one way of firming up the Bangsamoro Youth Peace Agenda, as well as ensuring youth participation in governance processes with the ratification of the Bangsamoro Organic Law and the establishment of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority. To ensure the development of the skills and talents of the youth, in August 2019, we held a series of youth formation in Lanao and Maguindanao. Our beneficiaries were the young combatants, out-of-school youth, and the young ulama or young scholars in the respective provinces. And in drafting the Bangsamoro Youth Priority Agenda, we are very grateful also to the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue for supporting us to have the consultation entire the BARMM region, in which we have a very community-based consultation in which conducted its operation at Buganga Temporary Shelter in Marawi City. The program distributed different kinds of assistance to the internally displaced persons of the Marawi siege. For the part of the Office on the Bangsamoro Youth Affairs, we distributed packlans and school supplies to the children. In December 2019 to February 2020, a series of fora on youth issues and concerns had been conducted. This is entitled BARMM Youth, Inspire, Empower, and Connect. This office went to different public high schools in Marawi City to inform students on the approval of the Bangsamoro Youth Commission Bill into law. With it, a wider horizon of opportunities are made for the youth to participate and be involved in meaningful youth-driven activities. And we in the BYC will work tirelessly to provide that avenue where our youth can create and develop their potentials. In all this, the Bangsamoro Youth Commission is proud to unveil today the Bangsamoro Youth Transition Priority Agenda, or BYTPA, that will serve as a guide for the Commission in the years to come in realizing its mission and vision for the youth. The BYC adheres to the vision, mission, and framework of the National Youth Commission's medium-term Philippine Youth Development Plan, which covers all Filipino youth. Moreover, BYC recognizes the peculiar social context, considerations, and conditions of the youth in the Bangsamoro region. As you can see on the screen, these three age categories of multi-ethnic youth and their families live in a vast varied geographic terrain, a complex social setting where many communities suffer from the chronic poverty, armed conflict, family feud, natural disaster, and poor or inadequate basic services. Last year, the Bangsamoro Youth Commission, together with BARMM ministries and development partners, namely the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, United Nations Development Program, UNDP, Center for Humanitarian Dialogue, HD, and the European Union, as well as the Forum ZFD of Germany, develop a transition plan that would address the pertinent needs and challenges confronting the BARMM youth. Among others, we recognize the need for promoting peaceful engagement on resilience to violence, advocating for the rights of indigenous youth, protection from gender-based violence, child early and forced marriages, economic opportunities, and right to equality. Ministries, youth organizations, and partners, the BYTPA resolved to focus on 4 priority agenda in the next 3 years. Number 1, strengthen BYC's technical capacity for policy formulation, coordination, promotion, monitoring, and evaluation. Number 2, collect baseline data on the 9 centers for the youth participation and development. Number 3, collect and consolidate monitoring and evaluation data for the 5 priority center agenda for youth participation. And finally, number 4, formulate a comprehensive Bangsamoro Youth Development Plan, BYDP, for years 2023 to 2028. It's a 5-year plan. An organizational review has been conducted with the Development Academy of the Bangsamoro and other partners. It has the view in the end to fill in the plantilla positions with competent youth leaders to be part of the technical staff for monitoring and evaluation, research, knowledge management, and policy making, data management and planning, information technology and community research and innovations, among others. Again, very briefly, risk protection through universal health care that promote youth health and well-being and reduce their sexual and reproductive health risks and non-sexual risk-taking behaviors. Number 2, education, and I would like to pause here for a while to highlight that the photography contest, the one who won is the photo that depicts the child being taught by her mother, despite the fact that they don't have the electricity and many more. You know, they only have the candle, if we can say that way. So education for the BARMM youth to participate in accessible, quality, and relevant formal and non-formal education and training to to be responsive to regional and national needs and to prepare graduates for the workplace and in the emergence of new media and other technologies. Number 3, peace building and security, because this is also very important for the BARMM youth to participate in promoting human security, inclusive disengagement and reintegration program, prevention from association with armed groups, including participation in safety efforts, peace building, conflict prevention, and management initiatives to promote peace and development in the region and in the country. Number 4, governance. For the BARMM youth to participate in government bureaucracy, particularly in designing, implementing, monitoring, and evaluating programs, projects, and activities by and for the youth and through their involvement in local and regional political affairs. Number 5, active citizenship. For the BARMM youth to participate in community development and nation building through active, meaningful, and sustainable, productive, and patriotic engagement with civil society, social mobilization, volunteerism, and values formation so as to improve the plight of the youth. In all this, BYC actively wants to play a major role in shaping the values, commitment, and competencies of the youth because as early as today, young people can and have already demonstrated their leadership in moving forward the BARMM ideology, principles, and agenda, especially what we are promoting, the moral governance. I believe that it is our duty to mold our youth and encourage them to look forward to a brighter and safer society. We have to be cohorts of one another in ensuring that the Bangsamoro will be an epitome of good, efficient, and effective governance, that when the Bangsamoro is mentioned, peace and order and economic prosperity will define it in the minds not only for the Bangsamoro people, but for any citizens across the globe. As Franklin Roosevelt said, we cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. The Bangsamoro Youth Commission is committed to fulfill its mandate of molding the Bangsamoro youth to be aware, participative, and contributors to a progressive Bangsamoro homeland. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. There you have it, all the programs of the Bangsamoro Youth Commission for the youth in this transition period.
Narinig natin si
ang programa ng ating Bangsamoro despite this global health crisis. And I know meron mga symbolic plans ng BYC.
Yes po. Ayan, narinig natin yung mensahe ng ating kagalang-galang na Member of the Parliament ng Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, at nabanggit nga ni MP Marjanie yung kahalagahan ng participation, youth participation ng mga Bangsamoro dito sa ating Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. By the way, Ace, pwede ko bang malaman saan ka ngayon? Live na live ka ngayon mula sa...
Live na live tayo sa Bangsamoro Government Center ito po sa Cotabato City. No?
At habang ako naman, Ace, ay andito ako ngayon sa Metro Manila, no? So, narinig din natin na kahit yung mga kapatid nating mga Moro na nasa outside the Bangsamoro region are also happy and very excited for this improvement at the same time development ng ating Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. From the OBIA, from the Office of the Bangsamoro Youth Affairs, ay naging komisyon na talaga ito. Ibig sabihin mas lumawak yung kapangyarihan ng opisina ng mga kabataan at mas engaging yung ating mga kabataan in terms of policy making, pag-develop ng mga programs, at sobrang mahalaga. Right now, Ace, makikita natin sa ating camera yung pag-unveil mismo ng kopya ng ating transition, yung Bangsamoro Youth Transition Agenda Program. Let's watch this, mga kapatid na mga Bangsamoro. Ayan. By the way, shout out natin mga kapatid natin mula sa Marawi City. Alam mo ba? Ayan, nakikita natin. yung pag-unveil, no?
We are also calling the Mr. Andrew Alonso of BPI
Kasama
to
on
witness
stage
our unveiling for
si
today.
kasama nila on stage si Minister Iqbal at si Chairperson
Ayan, kasama
Marjanie.
Member of the Parliament Iqbal at the same time kasama niya ngayon si kapatid na Marjanie, representing our Bangsamoro Youth
Mr.
Commission.
Andrew Morris from the United Nations.
And of course, no, nagpapasalamat tayo sa lahat ng mga UN agencies na sumusuporta sa ating launching ng Bangsamoro Youth Commission. So, isa to sa mga hangarin ng United Nations na masigurado na yung mga kabataan natin ay kasama sa pakikilahok ng gobyerno. Ay, makita natin si Sir Andrew ng UNICEF at iba pang mga UN agencies na nandyan, no?
Yes, tama ka dyan.
Ayan, sobrang excited ako sa gusto kong makahingi ng kopya. Sana ay mapadalhan mo ako, Ace, once na may kopya ka ng transition
plan.
No?
Alhamdulillah, it has been unveiled for the Bangsamoro Youth, the programs of Bangsamoro Youth Commission for the Bangsamoro Youth itself. A big hands of applause, please.
Yan.
So, alhamdulillah. Ang ibig
So,
sabihin,
ano ba sa inyong inaabangan mo na mga programa para sa mga kabataan? Bilang ikaw ay isa sa alam natin na nagtatrabaho para sa kabataang Bangsamoro.
Well, una sa lahat, no, nakakatuwang makita na na-unveil na rin kung ano yung bagay na hinihintay natin long before, no? And ito yung BYTP natin, yung Bangsamoro Youth Transition Priority Agenda. Nakaka-proud lang talaga na malaman na meron din palang space ang mga kabataan when it comes to the Bangsamoro government.
Tama ka dyan, Kaka Hussein. At talaga nga namang aabangan natin itong mga programang ito na kung saan magbibigay ito ng panibagong takeaway sa ating mga kabataan kung paano ba dapat tayo maging responsible, maging empowered, no? At paano tayo makatulong sa nation building.
Alhamdulillah, and we are grateful
at
to have the
kanina ni
from the Bangsamoro Parliament and other
Marjanie, ang mga ibang senior teachers ng law,
message of
no,
support.
na
Absolutely,
Bangsamoro
yes.
Autonomy
And
Act
right this
number
moment,
10.
we would like to request different message of support
At
from
nabagit
different
niya rin ang
faces
ilang
of
mga
ministries.
accomplishments ng kanyang opisina mula
We
nang
are
siya ay
calling
maupo bilang
MP Attorney Ali
chairperson na Bangsamoro Youth
the
Commission.
PTA speaker. Message to be read by his Chief Political Affairs, Mr. Amir Balindong II. A round of applause, please.
At yun nga ang ating unveiling ng ating transition plan for the Bangsamoro Youth, no? At ngayon naman ay mapapakinggan natin yung mga videos, yung mga message of support. Papakinggan natin ang isa sa mga video ng mga message of support natin, no? From Taraca. Actually ako ay coming from Iligan City, Lanao del Norte, but I've been working a lot, so much in my whole entire life working with Maranao sa Lanao del Sur. So ayan, may mga kapatid tayo. Hello dyan sa lahat ng mga kapatid natin, yung ating mga volunteers sa YPR Pilipinas dyan sa Marawi City. Hello mga kapatid, sana ay makabalik kami dyan. At ngayon ay mapapakinggan natin ang message of support ng mga taga-Taraca, mga kabataan mula sa Taraca. So pakinggan natin to. Taraca is a municipality in Lanao del Sur. Pakinggan natin to.
Recognizing yourself is a journey. It is about identifying who you are as a human and as a leader. This travel is uncertain and engages you deep as it takes you face to face with the deepest fears, self-doubts, vulnerabilities, and insecurities. On this journey, you ask how you are experiencing the life and whether or not it is at alignment with God's intention. And if you don't even realize the highest purpose, allow yourself to stay in the area of not knowing. And due to this pandemic, we are facing right now COVID-19. I and my core team, it was heartbeating to us to step forward to fully turn our roadmap into colorful. And it's very challenging, considering that our plan were halted by COVID-19. Above all, I myself cannot do it alone without my co-stakeholders who helped me to attain my proposed plan. The LYDO, CTI Napanawidan, who's always been helping me when making a plan. The MHO officer, Dr. Bulawan Dilawi, and all her staff, our partner on conducting health information. The full support of our mayor, Professor Nashiba Gandamra Sumagayan, and my SK Council's full cooperation. Together with my LYDO, we lobbied with our stakeholders to elaborate to them my proposed plan. At first, it was challenging for me because of their availability. That's why I have to wait for their available time. However, they are biggest part of the YLGP roadmap changes. They are the one who helped me on planning and implementation activities I've done. Participation, collaboration, and full support of my stakeholders is one of the roles to the development of my YLGP journey. The local health and school board and the Sangguniang Bayan Council were the one I have to approach in order for me to fully access and voice out the adolescents' health lack in our community. At this moment of pandemic, the critical role of the community and the youth sector is to have right and relevant information and ensure others do. They must participate in all local programs and they must comply with the guidelines provided by the local government. For us leaders and public servants, we must ensure the maximum services to our constituent, even we are facing crisis. We must continue to provide relevant information, maternal and family planning services.
Ayan,
Ayan.
sa lahat ng mga kapatid natin dyan sa Taraka, Assalamualaikum. Sana ay ma-meet namin kayo. Alam mo ba, Ace, na yung Lanao Lake na yan ay naiikot-ikot na natin. At ang Taraka ay, alam mo ba na ang Taraka ay isa sa mga very popular na municipality ng Lanao del Sur at maging sa buong Bangsamoro
Wow.
region. No? Dahil dyan makikita ang different kinds of carving, wood carvings, na very popular sa mga Maranao culture. Kaya sana ay ma-meet natin yung mga kapatid natin dyan from Taraka. At alam mo ba, Ace, sobrang inspiring yung sinabi kanina ni member of the parliament, Iqbal, no, na during at their age nung sila ay nakikibaka pa para sa autonomy ng Bangsamoro, ay sila yung mga kabataan. At ngayon, nakikita natin, nagsasanib-sanib puwersa yung mga sangguniang kabataan, at the same time, yung creation ng Bangsamoro Youth Commission para masigurado na yung mga voices of young people right now are being heard, even in the government level, no, yung process natin. Kasi hindi lang dapat tayo binibigyan ng mga serbisyo o di kasama tayo sa mga nagbibigay serbisyo. Kaya nakita natin na ang dami-daming mga COVID responses right now that are SK-led at sobrang proud ako sa mga kapatid natin na mga SK. Ikaw ba, Ace, ano yung ginawa mo kahit na very simple act during the COVID response?
Sa aming organization, ang nagagawa lang naman talaga namin is the information dissemination, no, yung pagtulad ng paghugas ng kamay o saan ba galing ang COVID, sapagkat hindi naman lahat naabot ng internet at ng TV.
Yeah.
Kaya
At
yun na
ngayon,
lang ang magagawa namin.
Yeah.
Yes,
hindi lang, no, kasi isang magandang gawain na yan, teaching other peers how to wash their hands to protect themselves from COVID-19. At ngayon, Ace, makikita natin, no, ang UN representative ng UNICEF dyan sa Bangsamoro region, si Sir Andrew. Pakinggan natin ang kanyang mensahe para sa launching ng Bangsamoro Youth Commission.
Who all have an interest to improve the empowerment of youth, their capacities, and to support the engagement of youth. Thank you. Today is an important day. It's a further milestone in progress towards a fully structured, functioning government, stronger and better able to work for Bangsamoro people to improve the development outcomes of people living in this region. So on behalf of the UN Youth Working Group, I'd like to congratulate the BARMM government on the formation of the BYC. I know it's been a long process. And for the finalization of the Youth Transition Priority Agenda for the next 3 years. Group was very pleased to have played a role in both of those processes. Support to OBYA over the last year, support to the development of the Transitional Priority Agenda. But I'd also like to take a moment to recognize the contributions of the non-UN agencies in this process, and the many civil society, non-governmental partners who have also contributed and with whom we have collaborated. But today is International Youth Day with the theme of youth engagement. And I would echo the comments made earlier by speakers on the importance of facilitating, supporting youth engagement at all levels and within decision-making processes. I understand this is the spirit of the theme for this year, youth engagement. And that's both within government and within non-governmental multilateral organizations. And without the full involvement of young people, a lot of our decision-making may not be the best decision-making. In fact, without the full engagement, the insights, and the leadership of young people, we may not be making best decisions for the future. So that participation, engagement, empowerment, and leadership of young people is absolutely vital. In the spirit of this year's International Youth Day, the UN Youth Working Group, thematic group in Mindanao, will arrange to set up a youth advisory board, a type of youth council, linking with the advisory board at the national level to make sure that there are representatives of young people from across the region, from many diverse backgrounds, to make sure that they are meeting us regularly, so informing us, giving their ideas, to make sure that the UN agencies in the Bangsamoro region will be making the best decisions and the best contribution it can. So in conclusion, and again, congratulations on this special day. There's much work to be done. If everyone is to accelerate development in this region and to start closing the gaps in development outcomes between this region and the rest of the country, to reduce disparities in poverty, in health, in education opportunities, among others. We look forward to the BYC, the Bangsamoro Youth Commission's leadership for a diverse and inclusive engagement with young people from across the region as the youth transition priority plan is implemented. You can count on support from the United Nations system agencies for the early functioning of the BYC and our support to implementation of the Youth Transition Priority Plan. So we commit that support to you. I understand in a moment we may be viewing a short video on the U-Report platform. So I can't stay here without making another plea and offer to young people who are listening in. Go to the website, we will show the address, sign up for U-Report, make your voices heard. That's a platform for you. And the polls that are issued on various topics, the last 5 have been on COVID-related issues. It's an opportunity for you to have your say that will be consolidated and then shared throughout media. So thank you very much to everybody, and I wish the BYC all good luck for the future. Thank you very much.
A round of applause, please. Thank you so much, Mr. Andrew Morris, representative from United Nations. Thank you.
Okay, naka-mute pala ako.
Yun nga.
Sorry. Ayan, napakinggan natin yung mensahe ni Mr. Andrew Morris, na representative ng UN Youth Technical Working Group no, na kasama natin
Yes.
sa pagbibigay ng technical assistance doon sa pag-develop ng mga polisiya na talagang angkop, at kasama din natin sila yung ating mga UN agencies doon sa pagbuo ng U-Report. Actually, na-try mo ba yung U-Report, Ace?
May mga kaibigan ako na nasa U-Report.
Yeah, so yung U-Report natin ay online platform
Yes.
natin, no? So if you want to report it's either good news or any reklamo within the Bangsamoro region, you can actually go to the U-Report Facebook page. At yun nga is napakinggan natin yung mensahe ni Mr. Andrew Morris, at sobrang napaka-overwhelming ng nararamdaman ko right now, dahil ito ay mga aspirations din when I was still a child, no, at naranasan ko yung different forms ng mga giyera. In fact, my mom was a teacher when I was in Iligan, mga giyera. Isa tayo sa mga vulnerable groups, yung mga kabataan natin, mga children and young people, ang naapektuhan talaga sa mga kaguluhan, yung mga different forms of violence, yung giyera. Ilang beses tayo nag-evacuate sa mga schools natin. At right now, sana, inshallah, we can really achieve the lasting peace in the Bangsamoro region. At shout out sa lahat ng mga Bangsamoro classmates ko sa UP Diliman, yung ating mga Congressional Internship Program for Young Mindanao Leaders. Sana ay nanood sila sa ating live right now, at sa mga volunteers natin from YP Pilipinas na nasa Lanao del Sur. Ayan. Right now, Ace, ano yung nafe-feel mo, Ace?
I really feel excited, no? Lalo na pagkatapos ng pag-deliver ng State of the Bangsamoro Youth Address. Ano pa kaya ang maibubuga ng BYC para sa ating kabataang Bangsamoro? At the same time, ako ay nagagalak sapagkat sa wakas, no, meron na tayong BYC na talagang makakapagtutok sa ating kabataang Bangsamoro.
Yeah. At excited din akong mag-send ng email sa Bangsamoro Youth Commission natin para sa different programs na pwede nating i-partnership, kaya sa lahat ng mga youth organizations na nanonood right now. If you want to engage our Bangsamoro Youth Commission, you can actually log on to barmm.gov.ph at hanapin lang yung Bangsamoro Youth Commission. Nakikita. And you can also like the Facebook page of Bangsamoro Youth Commission, at pwede tayong mag-drop ng mga mensahe doon, no? Kung meron kayong mga ideas at mga suggestion, welcome na welcome po, at sinisigurado natin na ang ating Member of the Parliament na si Dr. Marjanie ay sasagot sa ating mga tanong. At isa na doon yung ating ginawa kanina is yung ating KaBayanihan sa Usaping Kapayapaan. It's actually an intergenerational dialogue na ginawa ng United Nations para masigurado na may pag-uusap yung mga young people at yung mga nasa gobyerno natin right now. At na-inspired din ako actually sa sinabi ni Iqbal kanina na nung sila ay nakikibaka, mga bata sila, no? So tayo din sana ma-invive natin yung spirit talaga ng activism, at sana ay kasama tayo like a very peaceful manner of activism, na dahil meron na tayong Bangsamoro Youth Commission, we go away with a very extreme and radical way of participation, no? But it's more on communication, yung dialogo, yung very important na word is yung dialogo, na pakikipag-usap sa ating mga government leaders. So Ace, meron ka bang gustong i-shout out o batiin na mga kapatid natin dyan, mga volunteers natin dyan sa ating organization?
Shout out po, no, sa ating mga youth leaders ngayon na nanonood at kasama natin ngayon sa Sharif Kabunsuan Cultural Complex, lalong-lalo na sa Responsible Young Leaders Organization, no? At sa Notre Dame University Supreme Student Government.
Ayan, dahil student pa si kapatid na Ace. Alam mo, nakapunta ko dyan sa Cotabato. Dumaan ako ng Cotabato going to Tacorong kasi I have a tita in Tacorong City. Ayan, hello din dyan sa mga Los Baños family. So right now, Ace, papakinggan naman natin, no, isa sa mga message of support na binigay ng mga partners natin, lalo-lalo na sa mga sangguniang kabataan. Mapapakinggan natin ang message of support from the municipality of Balindong, Lanao del Sur. Please watch this.
How far are you willing to go in finding the solutions to the problem? Me, I ain't Superman nor Captain America, but believe me when I say I'm willing to go farther than the farthest. In fact, here in Wata Balindong, we always lean our helping hands to the people and especially to our constituents. During our deep dive activity, one thing I'm certain of that there are people who are struggling emotionally and financially because of this early pregnancy. It bothers me. How can I help the teenage parent despite not having a functional youth council? But then I find solution to function our local youth development council, and our priority is to reduce adolescent pregnancy and improve knowledge, skills, and attitude on HIV prevention. And then we formulated our local youth development plan to implement such activities or a program that involve the teenage parents. We scheduled the activities to expedite the implementation of the program, but then this COVID-19 happened, followed by community quarantine. It's just so sad that there are restrictions during this pandemic, but we have to abide the guidelines for our safety. In those hard times, I came up with the idea of creating a web page to inform the good people of Wata Balindong, not just on the minimum health protocols during this pandemic, but also our accomplishment as youth leaders. We assisted the frontliners and the local government unit of Balindong in distribution of relief assistance to our constituents. The pandemic didn't stop me from serving the good people of my hometown. Rather, it builds my willingness to come up and plan other activities to help, protect, and serve my people, especially those in the youth sectors.
Ayan,
At
Ace.
ayan.
Yeah. Maraming salamat sa Sangguniang Kabataan Federation ng Municipality of Balindong, no? Nakapunta ka na ba sa Lanao del Sur, Ace?
Nakadaan lang.
Nakadaan lang yan. So if ever na magkikita tayo, hopefully, inshallah,
Inshallah.
na mawawala na ang COVID, no? Pwede kitang dalhin, meet din natin yung mga volunteers natin mula sa Lanao del Sur. At isa ang Balindong sa recipient ng ating YLGP ng United Nations Population Fund, no? At makakasama din natin sila sa mga upcoming activities natin in preparation for the peer education training on ASRH in emergency. Kaya sobrang happy kami dyan. So sobrang excited akong makasama ang mga SKs natin dyan from Taraca, at the same time sa SK natin sa Balindong, Lanao del Sur. Ang Balindong pala is ay ito yung usually na dinadaanan natin, no, going to Cotabato, no, kasi sila yung nasa gilid ng Lanao Lake. Ayan, sobrang nami-miss ko na din yung mga kapatid natin diyang mga Maranao sa Lanao del Sur. Ayan. So Ace, kung i-check natin yung mga comments natin from the screen,
Yes.
no, we have actually friends who are watching from Zamboanga City at Happy International Youth Day daw, sabi ni Ben Hajan. Hayan, hello dyan. At meron din tayong mga, pwede mo bang basahin, Ace, ang comment natin mula kay Moa Amir?
Pinapa-shoutout niya at itong sangguniang kabataan ng Masiong Lanao del Sur.
Yeah.
Mashu.
Actually, Masyo,
Okay.
Masyo yan, Masyo. Isa yan sa mga municipality ng Lanao del Sur, no? So, yan, napuntahan din natin yan. Yung Masyo ay madadaanan natin going to the Kapay at iba pang mga geographically and isolated areas ng Lanao del Sur. Sobrang at sana dito sa ating bagong government, sa ating bagong Bangsamoro ay sana mas magiging accessible na yung mga different areas natin, lalong-lalo na sa usapin ng edukasyon at access to health services ng ating mga batang babae at mga kababaihan natin. Ayan, without further ado is, no, it has been 3 hours and 21 minutes. Live na live tayo since 1 p.m. this afternoon from KaBayanihan up to this afternoon. At sobrang nagagalak ako, happy to work with the Bangsamoro Youth Commission. May message ka ba, sa ating mga kapatid na mga volunteers at maging sa Bangsamoro Youth Commission? Kay Dr. Marjanie?
Ayan. Nais ko lamang pasalamatan ang BYC para sa inisyatibong ito, lalo na sa ating selebrasyon ng International Youth Day dito sa Bangsamoro region. At sa ating mga kabataang Bangsamoro, huwag kayong matakot magpatupad ng pagbabago.
Ayan, nakagagalak naman yung mensahe mo, Ace. At mula din sa Youth Peer Education Network Pilipinas at maging sa United Nations Population Fund, inaasahan namin na makikipagtrabaho ang ating Bangsamoro Youth Commission at palaging andito kami nasusuporta sa ating BYC for any other programs at mga different activities in the upcoming years, inshallah. At again, mula sa Youth Peer Education Network, maraming salamat sa lahat ng bumubuo ng UN Technical Working Group for Adolescent and Young People. Maraming salamat dito sa opportunity na to. At sana ay hindi ito una at huling pagsasama natin, Ace. Sana let's create more dialogues and create more online activities right now, no? Actually, naisip ko kanina, why not meron tayong gagawing dialogue, no? Talking naman, Bangsamoro youth discussing issues in the regions with other young people outside from the Bangsamoro. What do you think about Ace?
That would be very awesome and very great. I'm looking forward for that.
Yeah. Pwede mong mamimit yung mga different kabataan from the outside of the Bangsamoro regions.
Yes.
At again, Ace, maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga nanunood dito sa ating Facebook Live for the launching of the Bangsamoro Youth Commission and for the unveiling of the Bangsamoro Priority Transition Agenda 2020 hanggang 2023. Ito po si Ralph Ivan Samson, kasama ko si...
Mula po rito sa Bangsamoro Government Center, ako po si Ace Fiesta.
Ayan. Maraming salamat mga kapatid.
Maraming salamat at muli kami po ay bumabati sa inyo ng maligayang pagdiriwang ng International Youth Day.
Ayan. Happy International Youth Day, Ace. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I-follow mo ang aming Facebook page. Bye-bye, Ace.